And ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Hey, it's Vic. Everyone here at NewstalkSTL is incredibly grateful for the growth in our business during the first 18 months since we signed on the air. We appreciate the great local businesses like Southern Armory, Rhino Shield, Steph's Pizza, and the Walner team that have become one of our many advertising partners. If your business is interested in becoming part of the NewstalkSTL family, simply send an email to info@newstalkstl.com. We have a wide variety of affordable advertising options. Thanks for listening, and Merry Christmas from your friends at NewstalkSTL.
Columbo here for Agers Heating and Air Conditioning. Christine and I trust our home with Agers because at Agers, customer satisfaction is the #1 priority. And as you know, St. Louis winters are too cold and unpredictable to not be prepared for. So if your furnace isn't keeping your family warm and comfortable, don't wait and risk the problem getting worse. Whether it's time for repairs or replacement, Agers has you covered with the clarity and attention to detail your home deserves. Contact Agers now at 636-242-6515 or at callagers.com.
Do you live in St. Charles County? Then you can get Mid-Rivers News Magazine delivered free to your home just by asking for it. Mid-Rivers News Magazine is the only print source for the political, school, business, and sports news happening in your hometown. Simply visit midriversnewsmagazine.com/subscribe to get a copy delivered to your mailbox. Or you can pick up a free copy at all area Deerbergs and Schnuck stores. Mid-Rivers News Magazine. Anybody who wants it gets it. Anybody who gets it wants it. Subscribe for free today.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Listen to this noise coming out of the White House.
Live and local.
We need to get the message to people who are not being helped by Democrats.
Ron DeSantis showed people the back of his hand.
This is News Talk STL.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With their A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau, clients know that Lone Star Transfer is a company you could trust. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. On this Thursday, I am thinking that the worst social change in America over the years has been the gradual acceptance of treachery in our country. Yes, awful people have always been with us: brutal slaveholders, Native American destroyers, narcotics merchants, assassins. We've had them all. If you read Killing the Mob and Killing Crazy Horse, you'll know that I know what I am talking about. The difference today is that ruthless people have cover. The internet. Ask any school kid and they'll tell you stories of betrayal and emotional brutality attached to social media that devastate children, and the miscreants go largely unpunished. Ancient Rome is the best example of a society that became so desensitized that thousands flocked to the Colosseum to see innocent people killed by wild animals. That was entertainment. The crowds couldn't get enough. Civility in Rome became non-existent. A collapse was inevitable. Those in positions of power in our country are often frightened the treachery machine will turn on them. Thus, politicians and influencers stand mute when due process is denied, laws go unenforced, corruption is carried on in plain sight. Where are the crusaders for true justice? Do they exist anymore? Certainly not in the media or in the entertainment industry. Treachery rules there. Money and leftist ideology is the playbook. It's a grim picture. Only a strong, honest leader could set a different tone. Rome could not find one. We may not either. Those rare, honest individuals are hard to find. Back after this. Many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With their A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau, clients know that Lone Star Transfer is a company you can trust. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton with your first alert forecast. We have snow, wind, and cold all arriving on Thursday. A chance for some light snow in the morning, temperatures in the 30s. By late morning and afternoon, that's when the steady snow moves in. We'll have 2 to 3 inches. Not a huge snowfall, but combined with the wind and cold, a nasty day. And it will get cold rapidly, falling into the single digits in the afternoon. Snow is done with by the evening, but still blowing with windy conditions and frigid for Friday. -3 the low, 7 the high, mostly cloudy and dry for Friday. That's the latest first alert forecast. I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Let's get the conversation started, St. Louis. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Okay, that winter weather moving towards St. Louis. We're going to start seeing the effects of it, with an hour. Sometime this afternoon is when we're really going to start seeing it. So be prepared. We're going to keep you updated on the weather forecast if anything changes to make sure that you're as safe and prepared as possible. But still, doesn't look like this is a reason to panic. Just be prepared because it is going to be rough for a few days. I'm Mike Ferguson. Hey, good morning. Thanks for making News Talk STL part of your day. We got a lot going on here today. I'm looking forward to this. In the 7 o'clock hour, right around 7:35, head coach of the St. Louis Battlehawks, Anthony Beck, going to be with us. They are rebuilding a brand, they are rebuilding a team, and they are rebuilding bridges throughout the St. Louis community. I am telling you, I think the Battlehawks is going to be a pretty hot ticket in 2023, and we're going to hear from the guy who is responsible for what they're going to put on the field. Looking forward to that. Also, a little bit later on today, Mary Teresa McLean from our friends at the St. Louis City Republican Party, going to do some looking back at 2022 and looking ahead at 2023. When it comes to kind of fighting the good fight for small government, conservative values, and what can actually change in St. Louis. What's not really changing in Washington, D.C.? That would be the big government types from both parties, including Senator Mitch McConnell, basically selling out and tying the hands of the incoming Republican majority in the House of Representatives by working with the Democrats for a budget and spending plan that locks things in before the Republicans can take over in the House. Phil Kerpen from American Commitment joined us on Wednesday's program with some observations and thoughts on that. So you've heard the news that the Democrats and some Republicans now scrambling to lock into place. Suddenly, they've discovered the need for a long-term spending plan instead of all these short-term continuing resolutions, which have been, frankly, a joke for a long time. But now they're going to come together.
Of course, yeah.
Now they are.
It's the perfect time.
Right before the Republicans take a very slim majority in the House. Joined now by Phil Kerpen, a friend of the show and with American Commitment. And Phil, first of all, appreciate you being on the show. I want you to react to this statement from Senator Mitch McConnell.
Admittedly, I'm pretty proud of the fact that with a Democratic president, a Democratic House, and a Democratic Senate, we were able to achieve, through this omnibus spending bill, essentially all of our priorities.
Why is it I don't feel like he's a political hero at the moment, Phil?
Well, if these are his priorities, I'm not sure what the differences between the two parties are, because this is an enormous spending bill that fully funds pretty much every single request that President Biden had, and it's got all kinds of left-wing stuff in there. People have been sharing clips and snippets of it as they go through the 4,000 pages, and of course, none of the actual senators could possibly know everything that's in there, which is another sort of procedural objection to the way they're doing it. But this is The official price tag of 1.7 trillion is, of course, a lowball because they've got some budget tricks and gimmicks and so forth. So it's probably nearly $2 trillion of spending. And, it funds everything you could ever imagine. And so, you could say it funds the things that the Republicans wanted, sure. But it also funds all the things that the Democrats wanted. It probably funds a bunch of stuff nobody wanted. I don't know. I mean, it's such an enormous spending plan. And to the point that you just made, they suddenly feel a sense of urgency to do a deal with House Democrats weeks before those House Democrats lose power. They prefer to deal with House Democrats and Senate Democrats rather than House Republicans and Senate Democrats. And I just find it remarkable. And look, we've never in history had a situation where a spending bill was passed in a lame duck session after control of the House flip. That's never been done before.
Good morning, Phil. Gabe Pfeiffer here. What do you think is the political calculus here? Because as best as I can tell, it obviously makes sense, as you said, historically speaking, even to simply wait this out. We've only got a couple of weeks of Democrat control in the House left. Why would he do this is my major question.
Well, my guess is that it's not mostly about politics. It's mostly about pork. And in particular, there's $650 million of pork for retiring Senator Richard Shelby in this bill. And I think it's kind of a $650 million retirement party for him to fund all the pork that he wants on his way out the door. And it's not just him. There are a bunch of other retiring Republicans that have pretty enormous hauls of pork in this bill. I think Senator Inhofe from Oklahoma's got $500 million, something like that. And Roy Blunt from Missouri's got $250 million. And I think that's really what this is mostly about, is funding a whole bunch of pet projects, pork projects, earmarks, whatever you want to call them. But it really demonstrates what's wrong with legislating that way, because there's $16 billion of pork in this bill, okay? That kind of sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, $16 billion, but it's a $1.7 trillion plus spending bill. So 0.1% of the spending in this bill goes to these pork projects that are driving the votes of a lot of the Republicans. They're kind of cheap dates when you look at it that way.
Well, is pork really going to create the electoral results that they're expecting, considering that Republicans, because of our conservative bent here, would want to punish them for giving the Democrats everything they want? It seems to be kind of a lose-lose situation. Help me out here.
I don't think it's the politics. I think it's, we can reward a bunch of people who aren't running anyway. They're retiring. Here's their sort of valedictory pork. And I think their view is sort of, nobody's going to remember this come election time. It's we're as far from an election as it gets. One just took place. They figure whatever anger's out there will dissipate by election time. And this is their moment to, raid the Treasury, essentially. Because from a political standpoint, it makes no sense at all. So I don't think it's about politics. Now, the one argument you could make that I guess a lot of the Senate Republicans are making privately when they get pressed on this is, the House majority is going to be so slim, it's going to be hard to work with the Republicans, and they're not going to be able to muster 218 votes even if they try to make a deal. And so it's easier to get this done now and, clear the decks and move into the new year. And, that's kind of, and they always make this. Look, how many times have we seen them do this? They set a deadline right before Christmas. And then they say, oh, you got to pass it or we're going to shut down the government. You're going to miss Christmas. You're not going to be able to go home. And then the leadership has the leverage to push through whatever they want.
Good morning, Phil. This is Ken Williams. Do we happen to know how much money is in this omnibus bill that is going to be dedicated to the wasteful climate change?
I haven't seen a total, but I'm sure it's a lot because, they got so many programs across the whole federal government that are dedicated to that. The one that I saw called out that I found pretty remarkable was, I think, $580 million. And Congressman Dan Bishop from North Carolina found this and tweeted it out. It's $500+ million for promoting population control measures to prevent species destruction and loss of biodiversity. So the old sort of Malthusian myth that human beings are bad for the planet and let's try to have fewer of them with your tax dollars, that's probably the most offensive of the green provisions. But I'm sure in the 4,000 pages, they've got dozens and dozens and dozens of them of all kinds of shape and variety, and I'm sure it adds up to a large price tag, but I haven't seen what that is.
We are visiting with Phil Kerpen from American Commitment. What do you make of Kevin McCarthy's statement that any Republican senator who votes to pass on and who votes to pass this omnibus spending plan can plan on their bills being DOA in the House? Some would say Republicans can't afford to be infighting, and others are going to say, hey, if you don't have any principles, what are you worried about infighting for?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see when that's put to the test. If they're really going to say, "Oh, well, Senate leadership voted for that omni, we're not going to support any Mitch McConnell or John Cornyn bills." I think if they did it with exactly 10 Republicans to get it over the line, maybe you could do something like that and make it work. But I'm skeptical they're going to be able to. There were 21 Senate Republicans that voted to begin debate on this bill. Usually, people who vote to begin debate also vote to end debate, and the thing passes. And so, if they've got 21 is a lot to try to blacklist and blackball. And there were actually some surprising names. It wasn't just the retiring guys and the people in leadership and kind of the more moderates. Tom Cotton voted to start debate, and Marco Rubio voted to start debate. And so it's disappointing. I don't know what to say other than that. I'm not sure that the House guys are going to be able to make good on that threat. Although I appreciate them trying to exert some kind of leverage over this when this whole thing is designed to sideline them.
All right, American Commitment is where online or social media? Where can they get in touch with you, Phil?
AmericanCommitment.org, and social media, the best one is probably my Twitter because I'm on there obsessively. It's just my last name, Kerpen, Kerpen.
Hey, Phil, good to talk to you again. Have a great Christmas.
All right, you too, guys. Have a good one.
Your news roundup starts in about 4 minutes right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. What's happening today? Here's your first dose of the news you need to know. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Very quiet. He would sit in the living room.
Bongino.
We would give him puzzles and hours on end. Sit there and do it. So now you're thinking, like, what happened then? That the way, right?
Weekdays at 11 on News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here for our family dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, a one-stop solution for all your family's dental needs, and I really mean all your dental needs. Dr. Boscia focuses on utilizing the latest technology to pass along the benefits and huge number of services to his patients, which saves you time, money, and reduces discomfort in many cases. He also focuses on your convenience by offering early morning and evening appointments to limit disruption to you and your kid's schedule, and to being available for same-day and emergency treatment. A broken or infected tooth can shut down your entire life, and that's why Dr. Boscia can usually treat you the same day you call about an issue, right there in the office without you having to be referred or make additional appointments with a specialist. In almost every case, Dr. Boscia is the only dental professional you need, and that's why Christine and I trust him with our family. Learn about all those great services and see if he's right for your family by visiting newcreationdentalcare.com. That's newcreationdentalcare.com.
Columbo and Katie.
I think wind is cool.
Who says that?
I do.
I think wind is cool,
bro. I've said it before, and I've had that same reaction from many people.
Why do you like wind?
I think it's cool.
But what does that mean?
I don't know. I just think it's cool. I think it's cool that, like, you're standing outside and, like...
And it's whipping?
For some reason, air's blowing on you.
Tony Colombo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL.
Hey everybody, this is Paul Kurtman, host of the Paul Kurtman Show on Newstalk STL, but I'm also the president of PR Kurtman Investments. The market is down and inflation is up. So if you have questions about the investments in your portfolio, please let me help. Just send me an email by visiting freedomportfolios.com. There's no cost. The market might be uncertain, but that doesn't mean you should be too. Contact me today, Paul Kurtman, by visiting freedomportfolios.com.
What happens next?
There's more Twitter files that were released over the weekend.
Happens right here.
The media's silence on the Twitter files is shameful.
The media's not going to like it, and they're going to try not to cover it.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Okay, the forecast has changed a little bit overnight. Not the accumulation totals, but the timeline has changed. So we're going to keep you updated throughout the morning, starting in about 45 seconds here. Hey, good morning. It is 5:49. I'm Mike. That's Ken. So we'll get to that in just a second, like I said. Also, we maybe have a government shutdown after all in Washington, D.C.
Really?
Yeah. I ain't crying no tears over that.
No.
I have a feeling they'll find a way out of it, but we'll see what they do. They got to do something today, or they have a federal government shutdown, and nobody will notice because it's Christmas.
Let me ask you a question of you. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think they're going to have a stopgap measure to just the end of the year? Do you think they're going to have a 3-month? Or do you think they're going to try and pull the whole thing up to September 30th of next year?
Yeah, here's the weird thing is I honestly have no idea. They could safely pass like a 30-day thing.
Right.
But they really don't want to do that because then the Democrats and Biden, then they lose control over the spending for much of 2023. And so they really don't. The stakes are higher than people realize on this, because you might say, well, you've been doing these continuing resolutions for 30 days and 90 days at a time. What's the big deal? Just do one more. Well, because this next one goes into a new majority in the House of Representatives, and that changes everything. And the fact that so many Republicans are fighting to lock down the spending through the end of September is really, really frustrating.
Yeah,
really frustrating.
I don't understand it.
Yeah,
I know we've asked Phil Kerpman and other people about it, but it's just so frustrating.
Incredibly frustrating. And also, when you look at what's ahead, when it comes to the domestic spending, it's not even just the dollar amount. That's what people need to understand. This is about which left-wing programs get greenlit and which are getting red-lighted. And so the House Republicans aren't going to have any ability to stop some of the worst offenses. You know, the 10,000 or 20,000 IRS agents of the 87,000 they want to add. They can't defund that. The Green New Deal aspects of this, all of the subsidies and incentives for, like I said, the Green New Deal stuff, none of that can be stopped this next fiscal year or this current fiscal year if Republicans cave to Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and put this into place.
Well, that's like yesterday. I asked Phil if how much he thought that they were contributing the omnibus bill to climate change. And he said $585 billion or something like that.
Well, we don't even know. Could be more.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Because I don't know.
Right. Yep,
it's frustrating.
Exactly. So I've got a report on that here in just a minute. Also, this is going to be fun. We're going to talk to the man in charge of what the Battlehawks are going to do on the field in 2023. Head coach Anthony Becht from the St. Louis Battlehawks going to be with us at 7:35. That's right. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right. The weather forecast has changed. Now, the snow is expected now to start late morning, and we could be looking at some rain before the snow, which is really what you want to keep an eye on. The current forecast models say we could start seeing precipitation the official thing says 11 o'clock, but it could be a little earlier, but basically late morning now, because the original forecast said this mid or late afternoon. Now we're looking at late this morning when some of that precipitation could be coming into the St. Louis area. Overall accumulation, just really not that much, not that big of a deal. 2 to 4 inches maybe, so we're not talking about a snowstorm here, but we could be talking about a little bit of rain that freezes before the snow.
Great.
Now, I know that most of the St. Louis area, they've had the pre-treating out on the roads, and so almost every city in the metro area has already pre-treated.
Yeah.
So that's helpful, but you still could be looking at a little bit of slippery conditions, but 2 to 4 inches is just not that much snow. But starting this evening, the really dangerous part gets underway, and those are the temperatures and the wind chills, which are going to go way below zero. So that's what we'll keep you updated on throughout the day. All right, let's talk about the spending issue here and the government possible shutdown, that sort of thing. What's happening right now is I guess technically there could be a government shutdown. Time's running out for Congress to come up with the omnibus spending plan that'll keep the federal government fully funded past today. Fox News' Jill Nato has the story from Washington, D.C. Editorial comment, I don't care if they keep the federal government fully funded.
The Senate's struggling to pass the $1.7 trillion spending package needed to keep much of the government running this fiscal year. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said,
"We are very close, but we're not there yet."
They appear stymied for now over an amendment from Republican Mike Lee of Utah that cuts Homeland Security funding unless Title 42 remains in place. That's the Trump-era pandemic rule that forced asylum seekers to be turned away from the U.S. border. Other GOP members are saying both sides are close to a deal. The deadline for that deal is Friday. In Washington, Jill Nato, Fox News.
It's politically a very smart move by Mike Lee. Put something on there that Republicans really do not want or can't vote against in order to slow this down. To me, the best case scenario is they frustrate this so much and they have to come up with a 30-day plan or a 60-day plan, and basically that would be a win for the House Republicans.
Yeah.
We'll see whether it happens. Comes down to this. Will the Republicans have the guts?
Were you saying Mike Lee put something in so bad that the Republicans can't vote for it? Is that
well? It's the
is
title.
That the idea?
Mike Lee's amendment is saying that in this bill, you must include the retention of Title 42, of using Title 42 to combat illegal immigration. And so are Republicans going to vote against that in order to lock down a spending plan through September? Because, man, there'll be hell to pay for them on the campaign trail here in a couple years. So smart move by Mike Lee. All right, last night out in Chesterfield, dueling protests happened outside of a drag queen show at the Factory. Did you hear about this?
I heard about the drag show.
Yeah, so there were dueling protests out there. There were a lot of people who were protesting against the show, the performance of the show, and then a bunch of drag queen protesters showed up to counter the other protesters. Now, the Factory, here's the deal, is that they originally marketed this thing as an all-ages welcome show.
Right.
But at the same time, because I looked at their website, they said that, and then literally right below it, they had a content warning for language and other content, shall we say.
Did you see any of it?
Did I see
any of the performance?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, no. I'm talking about, they have video of it.
Oh, I saw some pictures, but I couldn't confirm that it was from that show.
Okay.
It was from some drag show, but I saw there. Listen, these things are sexually based. I mean, that's what they are.
Well,
I don't.
The video I saw was very sexually based.
I mean, but that's the drag queen shows. Those are sexually based, innuendo based, if not outright. I don't want to say erotic because that has like an aura of some kind of class, but I'm just saying it's just a sexually based entertainment thing. So the Factory and the promoters, after they got pushback from Senator Bill Eigel, they got a little bit of pushback, not real strong pushback, but a little bit from the mayor of Chesterfield, and they changed it to say it's adults only, had to at least be 18 to get in. So they did change that under the pressure, but then the protest happened. So a little bit later on, we'll talk about it. If you were there, if you were part of the protest, either side, I'd love to get your thoughts on that. This is, to me, it was not in a school. It wasn't in a library. It wasn't anything like that. So, adults are free to do stuff that I think is stupid and gross. but at least they kept the kids out. But it took a lot of pressure for them to keep the kids out.
I heard a parent being interviewed, and she said, "Well, she's 12." I'm like, really? I want my children to be naive as long as they can.
Should I say something that would really make the left mad?
Probably.
If you are a parent and you take your grade school, junior high children to a drag show, you're not a good parent and you don't love your kid.
No.
There it is. That's my opinion. All right, bragging rights game tonight at the Enterprise Center. Mizzou and the 16th ranked Illini play at Enterprise. Illinois is 8-3. Mizzou is 10-1. Tip-off happens at 8 o'clock tonight.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey, it's Tony, and as we get ready to start a new year, all of us here at News Talk STL are so thankful for the amazing growth we've seen in just a year and a half since starting the station, and we love working with great local businesses like Agers Heating and Air Conditioning, Rockwood Charcoal, and Zero Res that have all become a part of our family of advertising partners. If your business is interested in becoming a part of the News Talk STL family, just send us an email to info@newstalkstl.com. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from your friends here at News Talk STL.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Winter has come in like a lion across a large part of the country. That powerful winter storm that pounded the Northwest, the Plains, and the Rockies, now slamming the Midwest. Heavy snow, ice, fierce winds, but despite it all, a lot of Americans still saying, I'll be home for Christmas.
What AAA recommends is start planning now what you're going to do. Don't wait until the flight gets canceled for you to try to reschedule, or don't wait until you're on the road and the storm hits. If you can leave now, if you can leave, the sooner the better to avoid the storm if those conditions are going to be in your path.
AAA's Aixa Diaz. Bitter cold, dangerously cold temperatures also part of this storm. Sights set on the northeast. Severe flooding, a possibility along the east coast. On the heels of Ukrainian President Zelensky's visit to Washington, President Biden is defending his administration's decision to send a Patriot missile battery to Ukraine.
The latest U.S. military aid package includes advanced weaponry that Ukraine has requested. However, Russia's foreign ministry has said the delivery of the advanced surface-to-air missile system would be considered a provocative step. Not true, says President Biden.
It's a defensive weapon system. It's not escalatory, it's defensive.
The Pentagon said the Patriot training for Ukrainian forces could take several months. Greg Clugston, the White House.
The $1.7 trillion omnibus spending bill, not a done deal yet. The Senate reconvenes later this morning to keep working on the measure. At least a few Republicans sharply critical of the bill's failure to secure the southern border, instead spending money on speeding the processing of illegal aliens. Money for Planned Parenthood and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting also drawing criticism from at least some corners. Also calls for accountability for all of that money the U.S. has sent to Ukraine. Wall Street, Dow futures down 64 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Thank the pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold, the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
So far, everything looks good in the immediate St. Louis area. The snow line where it's beginning to stick to the ground is about the Columbia area now, so we've still got a little time before things go downhill quickly. This report sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
All right, here we go. Not too bad. Early this morning, temperatures starting off at dawn in the mid-30s, but dropping rapidly as winds increase. And by later this morning through the early afternoon hours, accumulating snow on the order of 2 to 3 inches in and around St. Louis. But those temperatures will be dropping into the single digits this afternoon and below zero overnight tonight. The high on Friday, 7 degrees, but wind chills will be 20 to 30 degrees below zero as the wind really howls again on Friday. Saturday looks better with some sunshine for Christmas Eve and a high temperature in the teens, probably about 16. Up to the low 20s for Christmas Day on Sunday with partly sunny skies. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Gerhardt.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by All Solutions Pest Control, 636-486-7888, or visit them at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
If you're concerned about the current market and the 40-year record high inflation that we're seeing, you're not alone.
Credit card usage skyrocketing and at record highs, savings rates plunging.
It's 100% certainty that you're in recession now.
The good news is, for decades, Steve All and his team have been helping people just like you protect and grow your income. And most importantly, not run out of money.
My clients that are currently sitting there on guaranteed incomes, they're not really worried about what's happening in the market. So they're more at peace because every month that paycheck comes in.
Call Steve today for your customized market protection plan. 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic rights and duty. The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion. Mike Ferguson.
This is the kind of adventure I usually have to force upon us, and here it is, falling into our laps.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
They're buying it.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
Why don't you pop a squat, son?
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
The old song says it's the most wonderful time of the year, but could you do a parody song of it or a parallel song that says it's the most stressful time of the year? I think you probably could. I would sing that for you, but that would make your holidays more stressful because I can't sing worth a darn at all. I'm Mike Ferguson. I am now joined by Dr. Julie. Dr. Julie Gatza joins us once again. And Julie, good to talk to you. A lot of people know, we just instinctively know that things get hectic. We use the words hectic. We use the words busy. And somebody may even venture out and say, yeah, it's kind of stressful. But we're also learning that kind of stress of what we deal with could maybe affect our health. What's the reality of this, and what's maybe separate from sort of the myths and snowflakery of it? Because there is some reality to this.
Mike, I think for sure that there is 100% truth to it. One of the things that happens with people is they start to neglect themselves. And, I would say in general, we aren't the best at taking care of ourselves, people, unless you're a small minority. But the fact is, people start skipping meals and not getting enough sleep, and everything else is more important, and the body really does get affected. And stress affects the body in three major ways: chemical, mental, and physical. And when you are eating poorly and not getting enough sleep and stressing yourself out, it definitely can affect your mental 10 times.
Now, we do know things just get really, really busy during the holiday season. So outside of just not participating in all the stuff that we love to participate in as far as the traditions and everything that goes, what are some maybe ways we can navigate through the busyness of the holiday season and still take care of ourselves the best we can?
I say the biggest thing that you can do is don't skip breakfast. And I don't mean have a bagel and a coffee and call it a day. I'm saying, eat the eggs, eat the protein, and, have a decent breakfast. Have 2 big glasses of water when you wake up, and you have primed the body perfectly for at least a good number of hours until you start to get hungry later. But, people are, drinking coffees and meeting people for, events, and, having more alcohol than they should, and, eating a lot more sweets at the office or just because they're around. So start yourself with 2 big glasses of water and eat a decent breakfast.
Okay, you just struck a nerve with me when you were talking about all of the candy and the sweets, because I am determined to not eat so many of those. And I got through Thanksgiving pretty well, not going to lie, but my goodness, this is a weak spot with me. In addition, I mean, outside of just plain old willpower, are there any ways that we can kind of, I guess, set up ourselves for success when we know that the cookies and the candies and everything else is going to be out there, the eggnog, the you name it? Because I've talked to some people, and I've even noticed when I've stayed with family over holidays that I've gained as much as a half a pound a day, if I'm not.
Yes, I understand. Well, it goes back to it, the same thing. Do not go anywhere hungry. It's actually a mistake. And now that Thanksgiving's over, which was the holiday you were supposed to go hungry, the fact is, if you go to a party, or even let's just say an evening party, eat dinner before you go. I don't care if there's food or not, but you'll go where you can actually then sample the appetizers. You can sample the desserts. You're not going there because you're so starved and you can't wait to just fill your body, and everything that you missed throughout the day with a whole bunch of food that really you don't digest properly stresses out your system and will keep you from sleeping well, not to mention the extra pounds it's going to put on easily on you. And, digestion is one of the major problems that people are having, and overall having to do with health. I've been doctoring for 31 years. And if you fix your digestive system, I promise you will get your health back. But once we stress our systems and we don't recognize that's what we're doing, then we're going to go down the tube pretty quickly. So go fed, and make sure that if you're drinking alcohol, whatever it is that your alcohol of choice, have a glass of water in between. So if it's a glass of wine, have a glass of water, then another glass of wine. And that way you'll keep yourself from over consuming, and you'll still keep yourself hydrated.
We are visiting with Dr. Julie Getz. What about the non-nutrition aspects of stress and health? I mean, what are some of the things of the holiday season? I mean, obviously there's very cold weather. It's cold and flu season everywhere. But what about the aspect of other types of stress during the holiday season we need to be conscious of?
Well, I live in Florida, but I'm here in Chicago today, and boy, the wind got me last night, and I grew up here. So the fact is, when you are too hot or too cold, depending on where you are in the country, you don't want to overeat. You don't want to consume a whole bunch of, ice cream, a pint of ice cream, or eat all the pie from Thanksgiving. What you want to do when you're stressed, hot or cold, or even mentally stressed, let's say you've had an altercation with a family member, that'll do it for you. That's the time that you want to have soups. That's when you want to have a smoothie. You don't want to ask your digestive system to work overtime to try to break down the quantity or the quality of the food that you shouldn't have in the body, because digestion is not the first thing that is working hard when you are stressed. A lot of other body parts have to take priority. So be kind to yourself and eat to actually get nutrition and easily broken down foods. I've been giving high quality digestive enzymes for years and years to my patients because of this reason. They need to get the nutrition from their food, which is what digestive enzymes do for somebody. And then they also need to break down the toxic and the bad foods for them as well, so that they don't suffer so badly when we do go off the rails.
If we do go off the rails, like you said there, for the big meal or something, I know I'm tempted to really kick myself and be mad at myself for a long time. What's the balance between just enjoying the big meal, even if there's some stuff we shouldn't be eating on a regular basis, versus maintaining, I guess, that right nutritional approach? Is it okay to step aside for one meal and just have and enjoy the time?
It absolutely is. And, I looked at all this advice that I give throughout the years to people and, wonder, how much do I really follow it? And I really do walk the walk. So, I have these digestive enzymes called Absorbaid, and I brought a ton of them with me. And on Thanksgiving, I was doling them out like candy, going, hey guys, you're eating this, take these. And, generally at my house, I have a bowl full of them sitting on my countertop because that will remind me to take them at each meal. But when you take enzymes, high quality enzymes, it breaks down your proteins, your fats, the carbohydrates, and you're getting more aid than, just crossing your fingers and hoping you don't suffer from overeating or eating, too fatty foods and things that you don't generally have. So, definitely that is sort of my ace in the hole for just about every meal that is either a good meal or even if it's not a good meal.
Okay, we'll give out the website in just a second. What's the elevator pitch answer? Because I've just got less than a minute. You mentioned rest a couple times. How crucial is that?
It's so vital. You cannot repair the body. You cannot repair anything in your system unless you're resting and getting enough sleep. So, this is not a moment of pride where you go, I got 5 hours last night and I can still keep on ticking. What you're doing is you're using your reserves and using up the backup when you don't have to do that. So whatever it takes, try to get enough sleep. It really makes a difference in your mental attitude, not to mention how you physically will repair and feel.
Okay, where do people find out more about you? Website, social media? How do they get in touch?
They can go to the website, which is naturesources.com, and they can read all about the Absorbaid and, all the different things and ways that you can use it. They can also get some free samples, and they can call the 1-800 number and use the code radio. That's 1-800-827-7656. And don't forget to use the code radio. I have an Instagram account called Dr. Julie Healthy Vibes if you're interested.
All right, Dr. Julie, appreciate you being back on the show.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Merry Christmas.
And to you as well.
Thanks.
All right, a lot of good advice right there. So what are the things that get you worked up with, or what are your tips that you've learned over the years for trying to maybe not necessarily stay in shape, but how about just keeping your sanity over the holidays? You got any tips? I'm open to them. I'd love to hear them. Let's talk about it. 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. You want to give me more information? From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
The roads are okay at the moment. We're, of course, watching as that snow begins to move in. Checked in with Lambert Field this morning. About 60 flights have already been canceled, primarily Southwest Airlines flights. So call ahead if you are flying out. Our roadways at the moment, light and on the go. I'm Joe Sonderman with the very latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Dell Technologies provides growing businesses with tools to do incredible things because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewstalkSTL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Hey, it's Mike Ferguson here. Everybody here at News Talk STL is incredibly grateful for the growth of our business during our first 18 months since we signed on the air. We appreciate the great local businesses like Clear Path Wealth Management, STL Fence Works, and Michael's Flooring that have all become advertising partners. If your business is interested in becoming part of the News Talk STL family, simply send an email to info@newstalkstl.com. Thanks for listening, and Merry Christmas from your friends at News Talk STL.
I'm so tired of my water smelling like rotten eggs. Iron foul. It makes my clothes and home smell, and my sink and faucet look dirty. I'm calling Jones Air and Water Treatment for their solution to this pollution.
Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to your pollution. Call now for your free water analysis at 636-899-1040 and live with clean, great-tasting water. That's 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years, featuring exclusive products, unbeatable prices, and expert installation. You can choose from a wide variety of flooring options, including carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, plus many other options. And you'll gain a peace of mind knowing that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in-store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home online. Check out everything Michael's Flooring has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Now, the Onder Prescription with Dr. Bob Onder.
I'm Dr. Bob Onder. On Monday, the mayor of El Paso, Texas, declared a state of emergency because of the border crisis affecting his city. Thousands of illegal aliens have flooded across the border, and he noted that after Wednesday, daily apprehensions and releases could rise to as high as 6,000 per day. According to the Federation for American Immigration Reform, 4.9 million illegal aliens have crossed our southern border since President Joe Biden took office. In 2008, Missouri passed my bill to clamp down on illegal immigration by banning sanctuary cities and facilitating removal of criminal illegal aliens. But there is only so much a state can do. This is a federal crisis, engineered by the open border leftists who run the Biden administration. No sovereign nation can survive without borders and with this kind of disrespect for the rule of law. It needs to stop now. I'm Dr. Bob, and that's my prescription.
Find more Dr. Bob Onder at bobondermo.com.
This border is a disaster.
News, analysis, opinion.
5.5 million illegal immigrants have crossed the border since Biden took office. This is Biden's fault.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the Morning. Made in St. Louis, for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Hey, do yourself a solid and go to newstalkstl.com and sign up for our newsletter. Seriously?
Definitely.
I've been in media a long time. This is really the best newsletter I've seen any of the places I've worked at.
Yeah, it's real comprehensive, man.
Well, but it's also quick and easy to read, too.
Yeah.
And they're quick reads. There's almost always video. There's almost always a podcast. There is always a political cartoon that's great. So just go to NewstalkSTL, sign up for that, and you'll also be among the first to find out about new promotions, events, and we've got a lot of stuff planned for 2023. It's going to be a lot of fun. So like I said, do yourself a solid, newstalkstl.com, and sign up for the newsletter. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Ken Williams in front of me, and it's not Ken Williams' birthday. But Gabe over here.
Hi.
It is his birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Gabe.
birthday, Gabe.
Thank
29
you guys.
is tough, man.
I know, right? I mean, that repeating it this many times has kind of been rough on me. You can tell by all the gray hair.
There you go. Exactly. So, hey, happy birthday.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, happy birthday, buddy.
All right. So, Gabe's one of those. He's like me, where it's like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, it's a birthday. I mean, it's a day.
My birthday's next week, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Well, I care because
I'll
we
take the
get
stuff.
goodies here.
That's true.
I mean,
That's
I'll
true.
take the stuff. It's like, make no mistake.
Right.
You give me treats, you give me a present, I'm going to take it.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, we hear about birthdays here, and we know that what's coming from Michelle is going to be some goodies.
That's
so
right.
Yes,
that's why I
absolutely.
like your birthday.
Now, sadly, my goodies are going to have to be postponed because she's
under the weather.
She's
right
not
now.
feeling so well right now. So yeah.
But I saw some muffins out there.
Now I don't know who did the muffins.
I had half of one.
But I'll take them.
Oh yeah.
Again, like I said,
Blueberry.
You got goodies, I'm gonna take them.
You guys do that because I'm trying to behave myself.
I know,
All right,
I am
yeah.
too, Mike. But you know what? It's this time of year.
I know. The calories don't count.
No,
Is
they
that how
don't.
it
They
works?
actually have they have documentation on this somewhere. I don't want to find it though.
Because remember last year, what Michelle does is she asks us, "What do you want?" and then that's what she brings in. And last year, my favorite dessert is key lime pie.
Mm-hmm.
I know, it's weird, I know, but that's my favorite.
No,
That's good, man.
No,
It's
that's
not
that's a
weird.
great one.
And that's
Nothing
what
weird
I
about
asked
that.
for, and that's what we had last year. We had a bunch of key lime pies.
And the thing is, if Michelle can't find it, actually she's more likely to just make it.
And it's amazing.
It's awesome. She's a really good baker.
This year she asked, and I said, you know what? I'm trying to be good. So how about just like a big thing of fruit?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I asked for this year.
You go ahead.
More for
I'll
me.
grab an orange. Okay.
There you go.
No, I imagine she's going to do one of those little fruit pie dessert things where
Yeah,
basically
right.
it's like fruit on a plate of pastry.
There
Right,
you go.
and
Essentially.
sugar glaze on top.
Exactly. So,
It counts. It's right there.
Exactly.
It's fruit, man.
Oh, man. All right, what time? It's 6:24 right now. 314.
Kiwi.
I love
I like
Sorry,
kiwi.
man.
I like kiwi.
Yeah, man.
314-912-1019. We haven't talked about this a whole lot here on the morning show, but do you see that we ended up being dueling protests, people shouting at each other in Chesterfield last night at this drag queen show thing?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah. So just in case and by the way, if you were there, I'd love to get your account of what happened. 314-912-1019. So we know this Christmas drag queen show was coming to town. It was at the Factory in Chesterfield. And honestly, I didn't build it into the program here because it was, a private venue. We're not talking about it at a public library or a school or something. I thought, well, if that's your thing, that's your thing. And then somebody pointed out to me that they were marketing this as an all-ages welcome show. And I looked up the website, and sure enough, that's exactly what they had. And the weird part is they had all ages welcome, and then immediately below that, a content warning.
Yeah, those are contradictory, guys.
Precisely. And so people caught on to this. It hit social media. Some advocacy groups started to speak up, saying, all right, we're going to show up, and protest. Senator Bill Eigel mentioned it. There was some pushback, even minor light pushback from the mayors, like, hey, we got ordinances regarding obscenity and indecency in front of children. And so the promoters of the event went ahead and switched it several days ago to an adults-only event, so 18 and up to do that.
Oh, thank you.
Right, yeah. Okay, so at that point, you know what? I think it's weird. I think it's gross, but not my thing, so I don't go. And if everybody in there is an adult, hey, you do what you want to do. It's just not my concern. Now, there were a lot of people who were still showing up to voice their opposition. Your First Amendment right. Go ahead and do it. We probably have a lot of friends and some NewstalkSTL folks who were there. And then what I thought was weird is that another group showed up with a bunch of pro-LGBT signs, pro-trans signs, and then the two started shouting at each other. And apparently there was one person arrested. I don't know which side they were on or why they were arrested, but essentially the two groups kind of protested and counter-protested, then counter-protested. And so you had that kind of dueling thing out there.
Hatfields McCoys.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If there is a snapshot of the culture war in America of 2022, that's it in Chesterfield last night. The only thing that would have made it more of a snapshot is if this had to do with something like with schools and stuff. To me, the fact that it was at the factory, sanitizes it a little bit. It's still weird, still not something I would go to. But the fact that they had to be pressured into not allowing children at a sexually based entertainment thing is really kind of not just creepy. It's really bad.
The way you described it, and I'm listening, it sounds to me like they tried to just put it, start something and do it under the radar, because they had everything going. They had the children going to be there. Everything was great until people found out about it, and they said, "Oh no, well, it's going to be 18 or over."
Yeah, the thing is, if the promotion, it's promoted as all ages.
All ages welcome.
But then you have to find the content warning. That's the problem. I think that's ultimately what's at issue.
They were right next to each other.
Where?
I mean, literally right next to each other.
On their posters and stuff like that?
Well, I don't know about the posters,
Well,
but
that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Like when you go to
That's
buy,
just weird.
Yeah, when you go to look it up on the website and like the link to buy your tickets and stuff like that, and I don't know how many people showed up to it. I guess this thing's pretty popular, but they were right there. I mean, they weren't hiding that the content was there. So my alternative guess, Ken, is that this particular niche, if you will, is so used to people just accepting that doing this in front of children is okay, that either they didn't think there would be any pushback or they didn't think they were doing anything wrong. They probably still don't think they were doing anything wrong. They just got pushback and said, well, how are you going to justify this? People will be okay with it. Well, this is West St. Louis County. It's very different than St. Louis City. There's going to be more trepidation over this kind of activity in front of children. Just make it adults only. That way you're certainly in compliance with the ordinance and that sort of thing. But in other cities, because this is a touring act, I talked to some of my friends over in Kansas City. This same group is going to Kansas City to the Midland Theater, and I don't know that they have changed it. They still market it as all ages welcome. So their default position is bring your children to this program, that we put a content warning out just so you all know that there's sexual content in this.
Until we get chastised, and then
Right.
and make it 18 or older. But the problem is if we don't see this every time, you can't be the police about it every time, and you're going to slip in. And that's the problem. Then you get sudden indoctrination of these kids, and we didn't even realize what was happening.
Yeah, my problem is the impulse to say all ages. I mean, if you are in full recognition that the content that you are producing, that you're bringing, that you're traveling around the country with, is inappropriate for children, if you're conscious of that and you're conscious of the idea that children and these type of things should not be anywhere near each other, you don't even think about putting all ages.
I don't think they think that.
And that's the problem.
I don't think that they think that it's inappropriate. They just gave you a warning that it was there and then said, bring your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that in their mind, and I saw somebody, and I don't remember who said it, so I can't take credit for the term, but I saw someone refer to these drag queen shows as groomer clowns.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very good term.
That's a perfect term, actually.
Yes. And it hasn't been that long ago where this was very unacceptable practice. I mean, it really hasn't. I mean, you got teachers that are condoning this today, and it hasn't been that long ago where you would be red flagged.
Yeah, even in the gay community, there were things that were off limits. I mean, and the thing is that the Post-Dispatch and some of these others, they're lamenting the attacks on the LGBT community. Listen, if groomer clowns is your mascot now, you're bringing it on yourself.
Yeah.
If you are, at some point in recent last 2 or 3 years, the drag queen thing specifically began targeting children. And so while the left is saying, why do you have a problem with drag queens? This is a niche, and they've invented a stupid term, drag phobia, which is not a real thing.
That's not a thing.
And my question is, why are you so intent? Why is it so important for you to put sexual entertainment of any kind, but specifically of this kind, in front of children? Why do you have to be in front of children?
Why are you fighting this battle?
Yeah, why? Why pick this one? If you stayed in your gay bars, or just had your adults-only nights, there's no protest. Nobody's talking about it.
No.
You have your audience, you do your thing, you make your money, you move on to the next city.
Invite the furries and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, nobody cares except you're targeting children now with this. And I'll say it again. If you're a parent who takes your child to a drag show, you're a bad parent and you don't love your child.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Any
Totally
kind of
agree.
drag show.
Yeah, argue with me on it. 314-912-101. We'll have that conversation. All right, we're going to give you an update.
1019.
What'd I say?
101.
Oh, 1019. Yes, 1019. Add a 9 to it or else you won't get in. All right, let's talk about that. Also, I got an update for you on the weather because the forecast is changing. The timeline is changing. We'll have that update for you in a few minutes on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. This is Mike Ferguson in the Morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Listen anytime. It happens anywhere. Everywhere.
Every day continues to bring more news.
With the News Talk STL app. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at newstalkstl.com.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasovich. Governor Parson is activating the Missouri National Guard to help with state and local response efforts during the winter storm. The National Guard will help the Missouri State Highway Patrol by responding to stranded drivers and clearing roadways. A 27-year-old O'Fallon, Missouri man was sentenced on Wednesday to 18 years and 4 months for selling the fentanyl that killed a St. Peter's woman back in 2020. Prosecutors said the man could have contacted the victim's family or called 911 to report the matter after the woman called in distress asking what he sold her, but he chose not to and instead lied and said he sold her morphine. A B-2 Spirit stealth bomber that caught fire on December 10th during an emergency landing has finally been cleared from the runway of Whiteman Air Force Base. The Air Force says A-10s and T-38s will be allowed to resume operations on the runway, but there is an ongoing safety investigation with the B-2s. And in sports, in college basketball, the 42nd Bragging Rights showdown between the Mizzou Tigers and the Illinois Fighting Illini is scheduled for tonight at 8 p.m. at Enterprise. Illinois won last year, while Mizzou won the previous 3 meetings before that. In Major League Soccer, despite having the first overall pick in yesterday's 2023 Super Draft as the MLS's newest club, City SC opted to trade out of the initial pick for cash compensation and additional selections. Ultimately, the team selected 2 players with the 9th and 30th overall picks. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to newstalkstl.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
So far, everything is very quiet. Our volume is very light. Of course, a lot of folks are prepared for what's moving in a little later on. But if you are hitting the road right now, you shouldn't have any major issues. No incidents or accidents reported. This report sponsored by the Cheesecake Factory, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Give the gift of Cheesecake Factory. Through December 31st, get a free $15 bonus card for every $50 gift card purchased at thecheesecakefactory.com or at any of the Cheesecake Factory restaurants. Visit thecheesecakefactory.com for more details.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
All right, here we go. Not too bad. Early this morning, temperatures starting off at dawn in the mid-30s, but dropping rapidly as winds increase. And by later this morning through the early afternoon hours, accumulating snow on the order of 2 to 3 inches in and around St. Louis. But those temperatures will be dropping into the single digits this afternoon and below 0 overnight tonight. The high on Friday, 7 degrees, but wind chills will be 20 to 30 degrees below 0 as the wind really howls again on Friday. Saturday looks better with some sunshine for Christmas Eve and a high temperature in the teens, probably about 16. Up to the low 20s for Christmas Day on Sunday with partly sunny skies. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Darrow.
Let me tell you about my good friends Mike and Beverly Sloan over at Elite Printing and Packaging. Going on their 21st year in business, a success story that began in Mike's basement and now employs hundreds right here in the St. Louis community. Elite is a turnkey solution for all your retail printing and packaging needs. Custom built to suit your business. Call 636-561-8970 or email elitesolutionsgroup.com. And don't forget to use the code word PATRIOT to receive free design and artwork for your first project.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
There was an earthquake. It was in between 2007 and 2009. And I was up at 4 in the morning, whatever, had my laptop up on the counter. I'm drinking some coffee. And all of a sudden our bird, our parrot, Larry Bird, he was green. We had to call him Larry Bird. What do you, right? He starts squawking and his feathers are flying around the cage. And I said, Larry, what's the matter? And then I felt the rumble.
Vic Porcelli, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Steph's Pizza is on the move to Lake St. Louis. That's right, you can now get the legendary Steph's Pizza and Pasta in Lake St. Louis, 111 Pond Fort Trail. Steph's Pizza, where Mondays you get a large pizza for the price of a small, and it just got more convenient for pickup or delivery in Lake St. Louis. Steph's Pizza in the Chesterfield Valley on Long Road, in St. Peters on Jungerman, and now in Lake St. Louis at 111 Pond Fort Trail. Check them out at Steph'sPizza.com. Tonight's a good night for Steph's Pizza.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
On Thursday's show, it's Dr. Randy Tobler at 3:45, Jim Carafano at 4:25, and the Taxpayers Protection Alliance checks in on the ominous omnibus bill.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
Here in just a few minutes, got an update for you. We may still have a government shutdown after all from the federal government.
Yay!
Doesn't bother me, that's for sure. But Rand Paul, in very Rand Paul fashion, lays out the nonsense of Washington, D.C.'s mindset. He just explains. I've got that audio in a minute. It's 6:38 right now. I'm Mike. That's Gabe. That's Ken. Okay, so with the weather forecast, nothing has really changed except the timeline. Now, as we understand it, this sort of winter storm that's moving through, the initial precipitation, which could be a little bit of rain, but then the snow is definitely coming after that. The rain part, even if it's short-lived, could actually create some very slippery conditions for a little bit. The roads, the highways, they have been pre-treated, some places pre-treated twice. So you could have a window there where things are dangerous. So we'll keep you updated on that. We know that storm has already hit and is moving past Columbia at this point. So, I'm sure it's out, who knows, Kingdom City area and moving in towards the News Talk STL listing area on 94.1. Originally, the forecast was that this was going to be here in mid or late afternoon tomorrow. Now it looks like it's going to be here this morning. So just keep that in mind if you are needing to do anything last minute. Now's really the time to do it. Those basic things. You got to fill up your car with gas or whatever. Don't panic. This isn't Snowmageddon. 2, 3, 4 inches, maybe 5 inches, but really 2, 3, 4 inches is really what we're looking at of snow. But once this moves through, the temperatures overnight tonight are expected to be -5 actual temperatures. And over the next 24, 36 hours, we're looking at wind chills below 30 degrees below zero.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's brutal.
That's wild.
Yeah, and I just got a notice from Union Station that the St. Louis Wheel Park at Union Station will be closing during the extreme weather.
Okay.
For Thursday and Friday, but they will be open on Saturday.
Yeah, because really it's just a couple days. We just got to get through some brutally cold weather. So that's actually good. I had not received that. So thank you, Ken. So keep that in mind. We're going to keep you updated through the day. If you've got appointments, like I've got a doctor appointment this afternoon that I may just call in and say, let's do it next week.
Yeah.
To do it. It's an important one with my eyeball, but I don't know if I want to mess with all that kind of stuff. And please don't panic and do the thing at the grocery store this morning.
Ken,
you dealt with that.
I can tell you a real quick story.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Deerberg's layout.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was all the way in the back of the other side of the building from the cash registers, right? And it's back by the eggs. And I was getting actually 18 eggs. I'm bent down there, and some lady kind of almost tapped me on the shoulder. She didn't touch me. She just said, "Hey, are you in line?" And I said, no,
you're in the back corner of the store.
Around the back and then some. And I'm getting eggs. And she asked me if I was in line. I said, well, no, I'm getting eggs. And she pointed to the person next to me that's the next person in line to check out. Wow. It took me 45 minutes. It took me 45 minutes to get through that line.
So you figured the person next to you was shopping for eggs too.
Yeah.
but they were in line.
I check out up front.
Yeah.
Way down all the way. And then
it's near the entrance.
To the left and keep going. And then down there is where I normally check out.
Yeah.
This isn't a blizzard, people.
It was crazy.
It's going to be cold.
I didn't have my phone. There was a one time.
Oh no!
Yeah, everybody is taking video. Everybody's taking pictures.
Of course.
I mean, it was so bad. We were all laughing. We were joking around with each other.
That's wild. Now, I imagine some people are kind of panicking also because, Christmas is on a Sunday right now. So they're thinking, okay, then my next opportunity to go shopping is going to be, oh, crap, maybe it's not until Saturday night. And I don't want to be here Saturday night, so let me go tonight. But tonight's kind of rough too, guys. So just relax. I mean, like you said, it's going to be cold. It's not, roads aren't going to be impassable. I mean, it might be slippery for a little while.
Just for a short while.
And because the thing is, our road crews are going to be out. I know some guys who actually work on that type of stuff.
Yeah.
They're ready to go with the salt and the road treatments and all that stuff and the shoveling that's going to have to happen. It's only 2 to 4 inches. Come on, relax.
Build a snowman. Stay off the roads. Dave, one of our listeners, is one of those people. He said, just stay off the road for a little bit.
Yeah,
let us do our job.
Yeah, stay inside. It's going to be stupid cold outside. Just but don't. There's no reason to panic.
Yeah.
Okay, come on, folks. And besides, I mean, this is assuming they get the forecast right in the first place, because the last time we had a big, massive storm we warned you about, it turned out to piddle into nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that could be the case, but we do know some very cold temperatures are on the way one way or the other. But even if they're right about the snow, it's like 4 inches of snow, guys.
Yeah, max.
Yeah, this is not a big deal.
It's okay.
All right. Okay, so we could possibly have a government shutdown in Washington, D.C. Because the Democrats and too many Republicans desperately want to pass that long-term spending plan to stop the Republicans in the House in January from, frankly, putting the kibosh on some of the Biden administration's top agenda items.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Rand Paul spoke to reporters yesterday, and here's the part that's getting left out of the conversation is not just that they're pushing all of this, but how they're pushing all of this.
I brought with me the Omni, 4,155 pages. When was it produced? In the dead of the night, 1:30 in the morning when it was released. Now, people argue that it's conservatives' fault. You don't have the Christmas spirit. Somehow you're holding up government. Well, whose job is it to produce this? The people in charge of spending. The people in charge of both of the parties. When did they know that this would be necessary? Well, it's in the law, September 30th. You got 9 months, almost 10 months, to produce a plan, to have a spending plan. They weren't ready on September 30th, so they voted themselves 90 more days. They weren't ready last week either, so they voted themselves another week. And now we have it at 1:30 in the morning this morning. But what's the clamor? The clamor is to vote. Vote now. Let's get it done. Why are you standing in the way of spending? Well, the real question is this. What is more dangerous? What is more dangerous to the country? $1.1 trillion in new debt, or as Republican leadership likes to say, oh, but it's a win. It's a big win. We're getting $45 billion for the military. So which is more important?
I'm so glad that Rand Paul's in the Senate.
We need more Rand Pauls in the Senate.
Many more.
And Mike Lee's.
Yep,
in the
absolutely.
Senate. We need more of them.
I would argue that this was the Democrats' plan 10 months ago. They said, look, we're going to hold off because we know we're going to get hammered in the midterms. So we're going to hold off until the very last moment, and then we're going to say, hey, let's go ahead and pass a 9-month bill or a full year bill.
You're underestimating the complete dysfunction and incompetence that is a factor in Washington, D.C.
Right.
I know,
yeah.
but they're so sneaky, though, man.
Yeah, never ascribe to malice what you can ascribe to incompetence.
True.
And the thing is, this type of stuff has been going on for decades now, with the gigantic bills that nobody can read or does read, and especially the shirking of their responsibility to produce a budget. When was the last time the Congress actually produced an actual budget?
Annual budget.
An annual
Been a
budget,
long time.
Standard. It's like, okay, we produced this. Here we go. It's going to be good in force until the next fiscal year. I can't, in memory, go back to like everything's an omnibus, everything's a stopgap, everything's a layover, with thousands and thousands of pages.
I will agree with you, except for the fact that I heard them say that this is a very, very unusual type of situation where they're holding off to the very end. Usually what happens in a lame duck Congress, they'll just say, okay, let's just carry it over, let it carry over.
That's true.
In a gentlemanly fashion, but we don't live in those times anymore.
I'm absolutely certain, though, that, they're leveraging their incompetence in order to get a win before they leave office. I am definitely sure of that.
Well, you take what you're good at, and if it's incompetence, you leverage it.
They're pretty damn good at it.
Yeah.
What kind of strategy is it, Ken?
What was it?
It's a bold strategy.
Oh, what kind of strategy is it?
I'm setting you up, man.
Me
It's a
up.
bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
314-912-1019. Sir Paul McCartney clears up a rumor about one of his songs.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that this was a rumor.
Okay.
The rumor should be it's just a lousy song, but somebody had more to say about it. We'll talk about it. I'll let you know because it's Christmas time, and we need to dispel these myths. Right here at 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
It's very quiet so far in the immediate St. Louis area. We have one crash. Fire and EMS responded on Olive west of 270. The snow is moving into the Columbia, Jefferson City areas now. Kansas City area, the roadways are already ice and snow covered. This report sponsored by Dell Technologies, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Dell Technologies provides growing businesses with tools to do incredible things because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
The news and talk that affects St. Louis.
The media's silence on the Twitter files is shameful.
This is 1019 and 94.1.
The narrative is more powerful than the facts.
The media's not going to like it, and they're going to try not to cover it.
News Talk STL.
Since 2007, the state of Missouri and local governments have handed out almost $5 billion in tax subsidies or abatements to private developers. That money could have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. And studies show these subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. If developers want to build a sports stadium or shopping mall, why should they be given our tax dollars to do it? It's time to reform economic development subsidies. The Show Me message has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. That's 800-561-3405.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning. The Vic Porcelli Show. Columbo and Katie. Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. News, analysis, opinion. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the Morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
I'm looking forward to the 7:35. St. Louis Battlehawks head coach Anthony Beck going to be with us. There you go. By the way, on Rumble in the chat box, Righty Right says, "Happy birthday, Gabe."
Oh, thank you, sir.
That's right, because it's Gabe's birthday.
I appreciate it.
That's why.
I have leveled up. Yeah.
All right. There was a rumor flying around about very, very, very famous Christmas song.
Okay.
I had never heard this before. I found it actually on Newsmax.
Okay.
Yeah, you saw this. I sent you the.
Yeah.
I
just
okay.
Like, really?
So Paul McCartney had to set the record straight on his song "Wonderful Christmas Time"
Because there are rumors, apparently.
Yeah, I did, which I didn't know.
First time hearing.
First of all, I think this is a terrible song. This is one of the. I mean, I'm not taking away the genius of Paul McCartney or his creativity, but "Wonderful Christmas Time" is a god awful song. It's a terrible song.
I don't like that one.
I don't like as that in one. Like the world is a worse place because that song is in it.
Now Vic likes that one, doesn't he?
I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, you like. Oh, you like the one.
Yeah. I like real basic tunes like that. He probably sat there and sang it and said, "Yeah, I should put a note to this."
In case you're wondering, here's the apparently offending. I think I've got the official song here. Yeah,
that's
this
it.
is it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so the very beginning here is what somebody decided to start challenging.
Like the opening words?
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Or no, he starts with the decorations, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly.
The mood is right. The spirit's up. We're here tonight. And that's enough. Simply having.
That's blasphemy.
Oh, the moon is up. The spirit's right?
Yeah, okay, except the guy was claiming that it's actually the moon is up, and therefore it's about witchcraft.
Oh, come on.
I'm not kidding. I'm not making...
and it's not the Christmas spirit. It's
No.
it's the spirits
Right.
of the undead, I guess, or
Right,
something like
right.
that.
I
Okay.
heard mood.
Yeah.
The mood is up.
Yeah.
So some actor named Ryan
moon
George,
is up.
whom I've never heard of, he began putting on Twitter saying it's about friends practicing witchcraft, but then somebody walks in and they have to suddenly play it cool.
Oh, my God.
Now,
Stop it.
I will admit that every time I hear those first few synthesizer things, I bolt and I change the channel.
See, I like it.
I can't stand this song. And so somebody actually was asking Paul McCartney about it. Can you imagine being Paul McCartney, Sir Paul McCartney, nonetheless, Sir Paul McCartney,
Pardon,
saying,
sir.
by the way, Sir Paul McCartney, thou who hast been knighted by or declared whatever by the Queen, whatever they do over there.
Knighted,
yeah. Did you write about witchcraft? Are we really celebrating witchcraft at Christmas? And he says, his quote is saying, "Well, thank goodness they found me out. This is completely true."
I would have said the same thing.
Yeah, and in actual fact, I am the head wizard of a Liverpool coven. Either that or it's complete nonsense. And, it's the latter. Complete nonsense.
Oh, man. See
One
now,
letter.
every time I hear that song now, I'm going to think it is actually that story because that's actually kind of a funny story.
Right.
That they're setting up for spells and whatnot, and then somebody walks in and is like, no, we're having a good Christmas time, man.
It's not moon, it's mood. It's mood.
We're having
You
a
know
good
what?
Christmas. That is not a ceremonial tree. That's a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I'm just going to point out, though, that's exactly what the head wizard of a coven would make you.
It's not an upside down cross. It just fell.
You turn it back on. See, there you go.
Yeah,
it's just hanging on the one nail there. It's fine.
So Ken and I have a disagreement. I think this song is awful.
Right.
I hate it.
And then you like it. I'm It's not my favorite. That's like I won't go crazy about it. I won't turn it off. Like it doesn't hit me the way what's the other one that everybody loves? So This Is Christmas.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
legitimately hate that song. So this is Christmas. So what have we done? It could because if you actually listen to it, it's very sarcastic. It's a sarcastic Christmas song. You know,
I'll have to listen to it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Just from the perspective of the melody and everything. I like that. The one I can't stand is what's her name where she loses a guy and then she gets another guy.
Last Christmas.
Oh my God.
That's another one that I will run to the Last Christmas.
Yeah, I will turn that sucker off.
Yeah,
so fast.
I will turn that.
I hurt my finger once. Slam me in.
That was that George Michael solo or was that Wham that did that?
Oh, that might have been Wham.
I think it was Wham.
And back then it was, I don't know, I liked it when Wham originally did it, but it just, I don't know.
It's been covered a couple times too. I think even Taylor Swift covered it recently and stuff like that.
There
oh my God!
What was
Stop
it?
covering it.
Okay,
yeah, stop it.
There was a song. What was it? It was a Christmas song by the woman has a really soulful voice. I'm trying to think. Vince Vance and something is the name of the group. And I'm trying to remember the name of the song.
And the Valiants.
The Valiant, yeah. What was the name of the song on there? Because I like her voice in that song. That's one doesn't get played quite as much as some of the others.
All I Want for Christmas Is You?
Yeah, I don't think that was the one I'm thinking of.
I mean, that's the one that's coming up first on all of the Google searches for her. So I don't know. I mean, it might be she might have other songs on that album that get played a lot.
Yeah. Are there any favorite Christmas songs, or is it just the way they're presented?
It's just the way it's presented. It's
Okay.
the first song of hers that comes up as anything.
I'll look at that during the next information break because it's one of those things like now that we're right at Christmas, I don't mind Christmas music, but I just want good Christmas music. And I can listen to Paul McCartney and Wings and the Beatles, but not this stuff.
It depends on your mood. It's got to be mellow. If you're mellow, it's got to be real mellow. Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah, TSO's cool. Yeah, Gary Hoey, which we use a lot.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
All right. This is 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
The Rob Carter Show.
The reason the press exists, supposedly, is to hold power accountable. Was Hillary held accountable? Was Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, were they held accountable? If you think Donald Trump broke all of these laws, raped all of these women, stole all of this money, was he held accountable? Do you believe that the FBI and the CIA are working on behalf of the establishment?
The Rob Carter Show.
Or working on behalf of the American citizen?
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you by Elite Printing and Packaging.
Are you looking for the cheapest prices on car insurance? Then call the Cheap Car Insurance Hotline right now. Hey, you're guaranteed to save money on your car insurance. Most car insurances can be canceled at any time. That means if you find a better deal, you can switch right away. We're not just one company. We offer most of the major brands of car insurance. We're like a discount supermarket for car insurance. And it doesn't matter if you have a good record or a bad driving record. Our agents are experts at finding you the right car insurance for your needs. Our average customer saves hundreds of dollars a year when they call us to switch. So why don't you make this 100% free call right now and see how much you can save on your car insurance. Paid for by AIS Insurance.
800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. That's 800-721-5741.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. In his first overseas trip since Russia invaded his country some 10 months ago, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has addressed a joint meeting of Congress.
Against all odds and doom and gloom scenarios, Ukraine didn't fall. Ukraine is alive and kicking.
Zelensky thanking lawmakers for U.S. support while asking for more, and the Biden administration is pledging more, almost $2 billion more in military aid, while the omnibus spending bill being debated in the Senate would provide another $45 billion on top of that. It has at least a few Republicans asking where's the accountability for all of the money being sent to Ukraine. The former boss of the bankrupt FTX cryptocurrency exchange back in the U.S. now to face fraud charges. He allegedly stole billions from crypto investors.
Sam Bankman-Fried is accused of committing what prosecutors in New York say is one of the biggest financial frauds in U.S. history. He's denied the allegations. According to his defense lawyer in the Bahamas, the 30-year-old agreed to his extradition. Federal prosecutors say two of Mr. Bankman-Fried's closest colleagues have pleaded guilty to fraud and will now be cooperating with their investigation into the collapse of FTX.
The BBC's Peter Bowes. The monster winter storm spreading snow and ice, high winds and bitter cold from west to east is not expected to stop millions of holiday travelers from hitting the roads and the skies this week. AAA estimates nearly 113 million people will travel at least 50 miles from home between tomorrow and January 2nd. There have been more than 1,200 flight cancellations so far today. That's according to FlightAware.com. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures down 65 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Things actually lighter than usual. I guess the calm before the storm is the applicable cliche here. Olive west of 270, we do have one crash. Left lane closed in each direction, eastbound, westbound, Olive west of 270. This report sponsored by Think It Up. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
All right, here we go. Not too bad early this morning. Temperatures starting off at dawn in the mid-30s, but dropping rapidly as winds increase. And by later this morning through the early afternoon hours, accumulating snow on the order of 2 to 3 inches in and around St. Louis. But those temperatures will be dropping into the single digits this afternoon and below zero overnight tonight. The high on Friday, 7 degrees, but wind chills will be 20 to 30 degrees below zero as the wind really howls again on Friday. Saturday looks better with some sunshine for Christmas Eve and a high temperature in the teens, probably about 16. Up to the low 20s for Christmas Day on Sunday with partly sunny skies. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Gerhardt.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, Columbo here, and many of you know that one of my favorite things to do when I have some free time is to get out on the water and go fishing. And the folks at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton are the people you should see before your next fishing trip. No matter what you're fishing for, they have everything you need, from gear to lures to live bait. Plus, they can even set you up on a guided fishing tour on the Mississippi River. Make sure the tackle box is ready for your next trip by visiting Bluff City Outdoors at 2813 East Broadway in Alton and BluffCityOutdoors.com.
For $1 a day, if any covered appliance breaks in your home, we guarantee to fix or replace it. All makes and models, washers, dryers, refrigerators, air conditioners, and more. Guaranteed to be fixed or replaced for $1 a day. Call the Home Service Club now for free information.
800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. That's 800-399-3701.
free speech is alive and well in America.
Sometimes it's hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Right here.
The country is heading in the wrong direction under this president.
We're suffering shortages. America's running out of everything.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare ya!
Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
This is your cousin.
What happens when somebody who's on our side of the political or ideological, spectrum, maybe not in 100% agreement with, but who's on basically the conservative side of things, just starts acting real goofy and weird and saying weird, dumb stuff? How do we react to that? Okay, we'll talk about that here in just a minute or so, because we got to be willing to go, hey, no. Just because you vote like we do doesn't mean that you get to embarrass everybody. So we'll get to that in a minute. And I'm fully aware that I may make somebody mad here in a couple minutes with this. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 7:07. Got birthday boy Gabe Pfeiffer right here, and also Ken Williams here as well. It's not his birthday. But
just had mine.
Yeah, that's right.
and then yours is coming up. So.
Mine's next week. Yeah. So the weather. Everybody's got their mind. I am getting the feeling that I think people are over panicking when we should not be.
Absolutely.
We're looking at just 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of snow in St. Louis. In some of the areas outside of the city in the immediate metro, but still in the News Talk STL listing area, you could get a little bit more snow. But in the St. Louis metro itself, we're looking at 3, 4 inches of snow, maybe. Now, there could be a little bit of rain right before that, so we could have a short time of some slippery roads. But the roads have been pre-treated, and so it shouldn't take too long. What is real, is that really brutally cold weather that's going to be in place tonight. Once this snow kind of moves through, there's this Arctic blast that's coming through, and we're looking at below zero actual temperatures and negative 30-plus wind chill temperatures. So there's a lot of wind that's going to come in. It is going to be very, very dangerous, but we're not getting a blizzard, folks.
Yeah, I think it was last year, I almost couldn't come in because my door wouldn't open.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because and I had to use my wife's car, of course, and then everything was fine. But I'm going to unlock one of the doors, I think. Because I park on the street. Everybody else parks in the driveway.
Right.
Yeah, I'm the street guy.
Okay.
So I need to leave my truck out there. I'll lock those doors that are facing the street, and then I'm going to find one door and just leave it unlocked.
Yeah, here are the common sense things you could be doing. If you're not going anywhere today and you've got that thing to go over your windshield to keep kind of the ice and sleet off
the
of it,
cover,
the snow,
things,
the cover
yeah.
on it, now's the time to put it on there.
True.
It's going to be very, very cold. Now's the time to, maybe, let the pipes drip just a little bit to keep anything from freezing up. Now's the time to, fill up your car with gas, that kind of thing.
Check on your neighbor.
Yeah, I'm gonna fill my car up. I'm at about half a tank right now. I'm gonna fill my car up, on the way back to the house here a little bit today. But just do some basic common sense stuff.
Yeah, and while you're at it, help your neighbor. Make sure that they are set up. Particularly the elderly.
Now, Ameren did put out a notice, or they've at least been quoted in a lot of news articles here. There are going to be some very high 34-mile-an-hour wind gusts, which is what's driving that wind chill factor. If there is a possibility that there could be some power outages because of the wind. So if that happens, be ready for that. Close your blinds if that happens. It helps hold the heat in. Put the towels and bed sheets below the windows to keep that in, that sort of stuff. Have some extra blankets handy.
Unbury your generator.
That's right, unbury your generator. But that's unlikely. But with high winds, you just never know. We're not getting an ice storm. We're not getting a snowstorm. Don't panic, folks. You do not need to go stock up for Armageddon at the grocery store.
Even though they've been.
Yeah.
I call it the French toast party. Everybody buys milk, eggs, and bread. I'm like, and it's like, apparently going to have a French toast party.
Right. We're not. We're
That's
not gonna,
good. I like that.
we're not going to lock down for
Yeah.
a few days. It's going to be really cold tomorrow and Saturday. If you can stay in, stay in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because it's just going to be really, 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 really cold, and it's really that simple. But don't panic for the winter storm. It's not that bad. Okay. Now it's 7:10. Mike Lindell. He's nuts.
He's having a time right now.
He's crazy. And I understand that for a lot of people, they look at him as an ally because he is an absolutely, fervent, supporter of the Trump campaign and everything. But it doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump. He's just crazy. Okay. So he's launched Lindell TV. Is it, and that's a thing now. He's got his own streaming channel. And he was on his own channel the other day. And he actually confused his own host, who he's actually paying.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so here's his latest election rant that he went on. And this is just from his own TV channel. And the poor anchor who's like, there's the boss. This is the guy who's paying me. I can't, ask challenging questions probably. And just the look of confusion on this anchor's face.
What we're doing now is I am going after Dade County in the 2022 election. And everyone says, now, why would you go after Dade County? Would you know why, Brandon?
Well, no. I mean, that's Florida. You would think, that's a conservative state, Dade County.
But it happened in Dade County in the 2022 election.
Is that the one where that's not the one where there's so many Hispanics flipped and voted for Republican, is it?
Well, this is where Ron DeSantis won Dade County. This a Republican won Dade County.
Okay.
Well, for me, I look at deviations, everybody. That's a deviation.
Because that was historical. Normally Republicans don't win that county.
I don't believe it. So I want to. So just going to show everybody, just like we always say about Democrats, where they stole their elections, just like they did the one that nice lady in Georgia that got 0 votes in her own precinct.
Right.
I want to find out in Dade County what happened there, because it's a deviation from norm.
Yeah.
It's very much a deviation.
Or a whole lot of red voters moved to Florida in the last 2 years,
and
they
flooded Dade
really
County.
like their governor out there, and the Hispanic voting bloc has switched farther to red. And he actually implied that he wasn't sure that he believed Ron DeSantis won the election. He won by 19 points, dude. I mean, and it's like, okay, what are you gonna do? Who are you to do that? I will say, in all fairness, though, his pillows are very good.
Yes,
I do like the My Pillow, but I'm just like, he's going on these rants and he's going on this crazy stuff, and he's making a lot of other conservatives look and sound crazy by comparison. So we got to just ignore and dismiss this guy.
Now, I'm going to be more charitable than you on this because, on the one hand, you want to be able to be, if we were going to take him seriously, that his, he has problems with the way vote counting is done in various places, and like he said, he's looking for anomalies, then it would be a laudable thing that in a place where somebody he likes won, he would look for an anomaly as a problem that needs to be investigated. That's one positive way that you can kind of look at this. Now, I think he's barking.
That's incredibly charitable.
I think he's barking up the wrong tree. I think he's absolutely kind of gone off the rails a bit. But I don't like dismissing people because they go off the rails once or twice.
But it's not just once or twice with him. We've got now a couple of years of him just being crazy. I mean, just insane.
Well,
like QAnon crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I do agree with you, Gabe, that he's. Well, I agree with both of you that he's him saying that. I just don't think there's a place for it. The reason he's doing it, it makes no sense to me. But you also have to keep in mind, this is a guy who's been attacked by, in my opinion, by the FBI. He's been cornered by the FBI at a fast food joint.
They took his phone.
Okay,
it's random.
Well,
Jeez.
that's pretty random, and
right.
for and when he says things, I kind of go, yeah, that's a little nutty, but at the same time, you've been through a lot of crap with the FBI, and I don't trust the FBI to date as far as I can throw them.
Well, so, I don't trust them anymore.
So I
wouldn't
label him crazy.
I will.
Well, you can't.
I mean, he's mentally ill.
You
I
go
mean,
ahead.
That's
Okay,
obvious.
that's your opinion
Yeah,
for
well,
sure.
I mean, we know he's had significant problems over his years by his own admission with really heavy drug use. But
and he's been way gone from that for many, many years.
Right.
Mike,
But like I was saying, over the last few years, he has gotten so deep into not just, hey, there are problems with elections, so deep into bizarre conspiracy theories. The guy is just crazy. We should be dismissing crazy people like this and say, yeah, they can rant and rave all they want, but we're going to go do the serious work. Let's point out and let people know, no, this isn't one of us.
So the question becomes then, how do we deal with the people when they go off the reservation? Because we know how Democrats do it. Basically they circle wagons, right? They absolutely, it's like, okay, we're not, even if they say something crazy, even if Ilhan Omar says something completely anti-American, anti-Semitic, we're going to jump on. We can't do that, obviously. We can't be the ones to say, no, Kanye's still our guy after he praises Hitler, right?
Right.
So so then we have to kind of come up with a better way of vetting people in terms of where they sit in influence on our side. Is this now is this a spokesperson? Is this somebody that we're gonna retweet? Is this somebody we're going to put up as our guy? I don't think so. Not at this point. Just because I do think he's gone off the reservation to the point where we shouldn't be looking at him serious. We shouldn't be booking him on shows to be talking about things. But I think that's kind of the way to handle it, as opposed to
Yeah, and I just think he's a friend of Donald Trump, and they're gonna magnify every single thing he says. And to be quite honest with you, all the conspiracies that he's come up with so far to date have come out to be true.
That's not correct.
Okay,
that's not even close to correct.
Then name
Wyoming.
some of those.
Okay, so Wyoming, he went on a rant, and he had a big, one of his festival, election thing festivals. He made all sorts of specific accusations about software and votes disappear. Every single one of them was roundly debunked on there.
By whom?
First of all, by the Wyoming Secretary of State, who said, okay, come in and show us your evidence. Let's talk about it. Bring it on. And all they had to do was they looked at his website and they simply debunked. I mean, look at conservative media who said, yeah, all of these have been debunked. The guy hasn't been right about much of anything.
Okay.
Actually. Yeah, I mean, and he's clearly nuts. So
he's having trouble.
We've got a lot of serious people in our movement who are doing good work. Let's not have him drag down anybody else.
Absolutely.
Is the point I'm making.
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
I think each person you should probably judge individually. I don't think he drags down anybody. The only time somebody drags somebody down is when the Democrats attach them to it and say, you're being drugged down. I don't. You know what? He is who he is. He's got his opinions. That's as far as I'm concerned. He's just somebody.
314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Indifference. Stop it right now before you blow us all away. Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin car. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
You want to give me more information?
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
At the moment, our volume's very light, lighter than usual. We have one crash. It's on Olive west of 270. The two left lanes are closed on the westbound side. Otherwise, we don't have any incidents or accidents. I just flipped through the cameras. The interstates are in good shape. It's Columbia, Kingdom City, Jefferson City, and Kansas City that are seeing the snow now. Their support sponsored by Unbound.org. And I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
If you believe Brandon and the supply chain issues are still in crisis, or even if you don't, hurry into Southern Armory, your Second Amendment headquarters, for the best selection of firearms, suppressors, holsters, ammunition, pepper spray, and knives. Browse through our constantly changing inventory, order something special, or have us repair or modify that firearm that you've been putting off. Try our firearms training simulator. See the demo video on our website. Come into Southern Armory, 9901 Watson Road, 1 mile east of 270 and 44, at southernarmory.com. That's southernarmory.com.
Are you the type of person who loves their community and wants it to be the best it can be?
Now it's easier than ever to do your part. Go to recyclemo.com to see just how easy it is to recycle the right way. Or if you already recycle and want to be as efficient as possible, recyclemo.com can tell you what should and should not be recycled in your area. Become part of the clean recycling movement today. It's the right thing to do. Sponsored by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. That's 800-281-4224.
Commentary. New York City might soon cut services to prioritize the care and coddling of illegals, which sounds about right for New York. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
We conquer cancer. For the mom-to-be who is out of treatment options. For the doctor who has a brilliant idea but needs research funding. For the people who faced cancer head-on and climbed incredible heights while they were with us. For the children who celebrate the end of chemo. We conquer cancer for all who have been touched by it. Conquer Cancer accelerates breakthroughs in research and care for every cancer, every patient, everywhere. Join us at conquer.org.
Title 42 is still in place. The whole country is still bracing for impact because we're already seeing an unmitigated run on our border like we've never seen before. And even liberal politicians are panicking, like New York City Mayor Adams. He has warned his constituents New York City might soon have to cut back on assistance New Yorkers rely on to make way for the tens of thousands of illegals likely en route to the Big Apple. The shelter system is already full and money, staff, and space is about out. But instead of asking the Biden administration to stop the invasion, mayors like Eric Adams just want more federal money, more tax dollars to take care of the illegals coming in. Unbelievable. No, these states and cities that pride themselves in being sanctuary free-for-alls should have to fund and deal with the problem, not the rest of the cities and states that want a secure border. Blue states, you've made your bed and it's time to pay the piper. I'm Tommy Lahren.
This is News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton, and we're proud to be the official winter weather source for News Talk STL. The First Alert Weather Team is working hard to keep you ahead of the big weather changes and help you plan your day. So stay connected this winter with Channel 4 and News Talk STL.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
You know, it's one thing to want your buddies to always have a supply of work to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's another thing to go way too far. All right. By the way, 7:35, so about 10 minutes from right now, we've got head coach Anthony Becht from the St. Louis Battlehawks going to be with us. I'm really looking forward to that. Get this, out in Ohio, a guy who was a former 911 dispatcher actually now is admitted to setting 24 fires because he wanted, in part, to keep the boys busy and give them something to do.
Wow, really?
Keep the boys busy.
Keep the boys busy. Give the boys something to do.
Oh my gosh. What? Go volunteer someplace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
Here's the thing is that it's a volunteer fire department, so they're not getting paid for this.
What?
And he set the fires in the Wayne National Forest in Ohio.
He's starting a forest fire to exercise a volunteer fire department.
Yeah.
What kind of stupid bullcrap is that?
A pyro?
Yeah, that sounds like
Yeah.
a pyro looking for an excuse. There you go.
His name is James Bartles, and he's 50.
Bartles and James?
Bartles and James.
I
I
think
thought
that,
the same thing.
I
when
think
saw
that might have been involved.
Yeah.
I'm just
a little bit of that.
I'm just saying.
He's 50 and decided this is the time to start doing it. Okay.
Yeah, he has admitted to setting at least 24 fires in Wayne National Forest. Wayne National Forest is like 250,000 acres of land outside of Columbus just over the past year. And
no.
Now there have been 40 suspicious fires since last spring, rather. And so investigators started getting suspicious when, one, he was the guy who went, hey, I happen to be in the forest, I found a fire, and calling it in. And then at other fires that he didn't call in, he happened to be nearby. So it didn't take him too long to figure out what was going on here.
Yeah, he was doing the thing.
Oh,
Stop doing the thing.
God. Yeah. And so
now that crazy.
That crazy.
Yeah. So recently, investigators were interviewing him in connection with the arsons, and he confessed to lighting the fires, quoting here, to give the boys something to do and to distract himself from depression, the complaint says.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So mental illness is part of the problem.
Yeah.
Goes a long way.
So he claimed responsibility for 26 fires. 26, but he said 9 others. Like, no, not those 9. I didn't do those. I did these 26, but I didn't do those
Or more
9.
like, I don't remember doing those.
Yeah.
Again, I think the Bartles and James might have been involved.
When you are criminally involved in 20-something fires, I think the 9,
I'm
not going to believe you that you didn't do those either.
I'm just going to tack those on.
Right.
That's gravy.
Here's what's funny. One of the other ways that they were able to build a case against him is he had something on his phone. Now, they're calling it an infotainment system. I don't know what that actually means on your phone.
Okay.
But it has a GPS aspect to it, and they were able to tap into that and get his locations.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And his history of where he was, because your phone's tracking you.
Well, he might have had something kind of like a Netflix.
Yeah.
That would be an infotainment sort of app, something like that anyway. And yes, because they have regional restrictions on the types of things that you can get over those, they necessarily track GPS.
And they overlaid his location that he was on top of all the fires, and voila.
Look at that.
Yeah, no, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like exactly what they did. So, I mean, if you go into the office, it's one thing to say, oh, man, I don't want Bob to be out of work. Let me come up with something for Bob to do so that he gets his hours.
How about office work?
Right. Yeah. Hey, let's load some boxes or something.
Yeah. See, the make work stuff I get, but you don't have to make work for volunteers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They're working. They're working somewhere else.
It's like the guys who collect toys for Tots go and they burn down a toy store. And it's like, okay, now these kids aren't going to have any toys, so we can come in with our toys. That's not how you do that.
Yeah. Well, where do you get the toys?
Oh.
Whoops.
Dude, I didn't think that far.
And actually, this guy's taking money away from the volunteers because they have to leave their regular jobs to go volunteer.
Yeah,
Right.
if you're hourly, and there you go.
And also, it costs money to run on all these trips. I mean, taxpayers support a volunteer fire department just like they do paid fire departments.
Yeah.
All
It
that
just
equipment and
doesn't-
stuff.
Yeah, all that equipment, all that gas, all of that. There's a cost for all of these. But I mean, I'm thinking he wasn't like setting fires to abandoned buildings. Oh, look at this. Here's a shed nobody's been using for 20 years. Go ahead and do this one. The National Forest.
Let's burn down some
national
trees.
park.
See, you know what? Now that makes me think that the give the boys something to do is an extra added excuse on top of the depression thing, which I think was the actual reason why he's doing all this.
Yeah.
He's out in the woods, feeling the way he's feeling, and then he sets a fire to try and feel good.
I really miss hanging out with the guys. I know how to get them here.
Guys, I just want to go on a trip to the woods. He was listening too much to our PSAs.
Right.
About going
camping.
Yeah.
Going out to the woods.
The forest.
The forest is right around the corner.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right.
Just don't bring any matches, moron.
Goodness.
All right. 314-912-1019. All right. Looking forward to this. 7:35. St. Louis Battlehawks head coach Anthony Becht is going to be with us. This is the guy who's putting the team on the field and responsible for what's going to happen at the Dome. Are we going to be able to light up the Dome the way that we did back in 2020? I think we can. So we're going to talk to the coach and get his feel for what he is putting together for St. Louis. Also, we're going to keep you updated on the weather Goat Lady on the Rumble chat box said that the temperatures have dropped significantly, and they are in the teens and heading towards the single digits out near Avaz right now. So it is moving through central Missouri, headed into the St. Louis area. Probably going to be a little earlier than everybody thought. No later than 11 a.m., maybe a little bit sooner than that, but we'll keep you updated right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. This is what's happening.
We should have never released Victor Bout. It was a dangerous concession to Vladimir Putin.
News, analysis, opinion.
Americans feel like they have impunity, can go anywhere, anytime.
This is News Talk STL.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasevich. A group of unhoused people living in St. Louis filed suit Wednesday seeking to block a new state law that bans homeless people from sleeping on state-owned land starting January 1st. Attorneys with the group Equal Justice Under Law argue that the measure criminalizes poverty and violates due process and rights to equal protection. Prosecutors filed charges Tuesday against a 31-year-old man they say offered St. Louis police $2,000 and an expensive watch to let him go free. The man was pulled over while driving an Audi that was reported stolen, had a handgun laying on the passenger seat, and resisted arrest by refusing to take his hands off the steering wheel. Laser light shows will return to the Science Center Planetarium December 26th through 31st, with each show featuring a different musical act. Some of the bands will include the Beatles, Queen, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, the Grateful Dead, and Fleetwood Mac. And in sports, Front Office Sports has named the Blues as one of the best employers in sports for 2022. Award winners were determined based on direct feedback from employees within the organization, which includes the Blues, Enterprise Center, and Stiefel Theater. In Major League Soccer, despite having the first overall pick in yesterday's 2023 Super Draft as the MLS's newest club, City SC opted to trade out of the initial pick for cash compensation and additional selections. Ultimately, the team selected 2 players with the 9th and 30th overall picks. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
At the moment, the St. Louis area looks great. The crash that we are dealing with is on Olive West and 270. Left lanes closed in both directions of vehicles up on the median, and the report is they knocked a light pole down, so they might be out with that for a little bit. But the interstates are generally okay, lighter than usual. This report sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dreams of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
All right, here we go. Not too bad early this morning. Temperatures starting off at dawn in the mid-30s, but dropping rapidly as winds increase. And by later this morning through the early afternoon hours, accumulating snow on the order of 2 to 3 inches in and around St. Louis. But those temperatures will be dropping into the single digits this afternoon and below zero overnight tonight. The high on Friday, 7 degrees, but wind chills will be 20 to 30 degrees below zero as the wind really howls again on Friday. Saturday looks better with some sunshine for Christmas Eve and a high temperature in the teens, probably about 16. Up to the low 20s for Christmas Day on Sunday with partly sunny skies. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Hey guys, Columbo here, reminding you that if you belong to an organization like a school or a church, or your kids are part of a group or a sports team that needs to raise money, there's no better way to do so than with a TJ's Pizza fundraiser. TJ's Pizza has been helping local organizations raise money for over 30 years to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. A local company helping local people, and there's lots of different ways TJ's can help you raise big money fast. Get started now at tjspizza.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Senator Jim Talent.
We live in an age where saying common sense things is considered to be controversial or even revolutionary. Like, we need oil and gas. Yeah, I think we do. Or maybe we shouldn't shut down the schools. Maybe it's not a really great idea when troubled teenagers come in and just to rush to pump them full of drugs.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting, soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
It's St. Louis's favorite nutcracker with performances December 16th through 23rd. A glorious holiday tradition. Tickets on sale now for St. Louis Ballet's The Nutcracker, 314-534-1111 or at metrotix.com.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
Looking for a last-minute stocking stuffer?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, a lot of people around St. Louis would love a set of tickets or some maybe season tickets to the Battlehawks coming up at the Dome 2023. It's interesting because the Battlehawks they basically took St. Louis by storm. And then, of course, everything shut down towards the end of the season, and they were about to start selling tickets to the upper part of the Dome. I mean, we were the best drawing city in the entire league. It was, just something happened that St. Louis took to the Battlehawks in 2020. I was really excited when they said we're coming back with the same name, the same color, the same logo, and we're going to try to pick up where we left off. But we got a whole new set of people who are doing this. I'm Mike Ferguson, got Gabe Pfeiffer here, got Ken Williams here, and I'm excited to have on the program for the first time here, St. Louis Battlehawks head coach Anthony Beck. Hey, Coach, appreciate you being on the show today.
Yeah, you got it, man. How you guys doing? Appreciate you guys having me on, and hope you guys are staying warm. I heard it's getting real cold up there soon.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be pretty ugly here in about another 12 to 18 hours or so. Okay, so we're talking. I want to ask you about, sort of building, renewing that relationship that just, struck with the fans and why things went so well back in, 2020 here. But I want to ask you about part of what you're building on the field. I noticed something that you said when the draft happened with the XFL is you mentioned the quarterbacks that you're bringing in, and you mentioned so many other teams seem to be putting together, a really strong defensive focus. Am I hearing you right that the Battlehawks maybe are looking at more of a high-flying, really aggressive, fast-paced offense, to kind of counteract that? I mean, every team's got a different focus.
Yeah, I think that's part of the process we'd like to have. Obviously, we would like to be as explosive as we possibly can. We feel like we have really good players at our skill position currently, and we'll add a couple more here as we get into camp. We had a couple of our players get pulled on the NFL practice squad players, which is great for them. But look, we're looking at the right guys. That's what's the most important thing, and those are the guys that I want on this team. I think that the mindset going in was, we do have a little bit more of a defensive laden, from good coordinators, head coaches on the side of this league that, do we have a quarterback that we can give them the answers at the line of scrimmage, someone that can handle the kind of volume that we want to put in and be able to kind of be that additional coordinator / coach on the field where, now we're just kind of getting our skill guys in positions to make plays. So, if AJ, Ryan Willis, Nick, our QBs can go out there and facilitate the football, give them the answers for whatever blitz packages and anything that's maybe coming our way week to week from these coaches, as many times as you can bring heat, you can also burn them, right? So I think that's kind of the opposite philosophy we're looking at. And, we'll see what happens. I mean, we're slowly putting in our offense now through Zoom with the players just to get them a little bit acclimated on some verbiage, some formations and stuff like that. But, once we get to Arlington and we hunker down. We're going to have a lot of meeting time, a lot of, space with the players to really hunker down and try to, put something together that makes sense, that's, simple but yet sophisticated, and, give these guys an opportunity to showcase their skills.
When you're did you have?
Yeah, sorry to jump in. Good morning, Coach. Gabe Pfeiffer here. Just wanted to ask, when does this stuff get going in earnest? When are you guys getting together? When are you going to start running plays together and all that?
Yep. So, right now we're just getting Zooms together twice a week with the offensive and defensive players. OC and DC, Bruce Kukowski and Donnie Abraham are running those shows and getting these guys familiar with just terminologies, words, things that they can start getting and piecing together, so they have a little bit of a common knowledge of some of the base stuff that we're doing when we get in. Coaches will report January the 4th, which is coming up here quickly, and we'll have a few days to kind of get our stuff acclimated together, get everything set, and then the players will start onboarding about 3 or 4 days after that in Arlington, and they'll go through an onboarding phase medically, physically. They'll ramp them up, and I think the key word we're using is ramping up the players, very similar to what the NFL does in the beginning. There's a kind of a process of getting the guys acclimated, both mentally and physically, into the new environment that they're going to be in. And then you're looking at about mid-January actually being on the field and actually cranking it up and having, legitimate practices where, it's time to go and play football.
Wow. Good morning, Coach Beck. This is Ked Williams. In my limited time that I played in football in high school, I remember that, the teams are really big, and it was quite a process to do tryouts. How long was your process in trying people out, and how many men are you going to be on the team at the end of the day?
Yeah, it was very intense. I mean, think about it. Most of the head coaches in professional leagues, they have a team already assembled. So they're adding 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces each year and, kind of remolding the back end of the roster and trying to upload with the draft. For us, we had to build from the ground up. It was very labor intensive, just a lot of names. I mean, we had our showcases. It was 6 showcases over the summer, which compiled about, over 2,000 players, and then you had all the guys that were in preseason and mini camp with the NFL, and then guys that were wanting to flip flop from other leagues. So all those players really had to be at least evaluated, looked at, or charted at some point. And then when we went to the draft, we had a pool of about 1,600 players to choose from. So it's really interesting how many teams kind of looked at some guys that were similar and some guys that quite frankly were picked, and I didn't even have them on my board. But it was kind of a unique process. We all kind of put together what we were looking for, best for us. Clearly the quarterback and the trenches are the biggest areas where you're trying to, put the best pieces you can find together. Offensive line, defensive line are the biggest struggle at the highest level to find depth. And now, you're looking for guys that, are quite frankly as close as you could possibly be to the next level, and just for whatever reason are lacking something. And it may only be just a numbers thing for these guys. They just can't crack it. So, we feel good about it, about our players. And then the skill positions obviously are very deep. You're talking about when you're looking at 1,600 players, it's a lot of those guys are running backs, receivers, DBs. So, you can always kind of find those guys. It's really the depth of it and finding the right guys that fit, make the most sense. We had a private workout ourselves. A lot of teams did their own workout, at least 1 or 2 of them. We did one where we kind of pulled back our top 75, 80 guys and mixed in with a couple guys down here I'm down in the Florida region, so there's a little bit more of a skill base down here player-wise. And we had another kind of get-together, a last one, just to kind of look at our QBs, see some of the skill guys. And ultimately, when you draft these players, it's not like the NFL where you're like, oh, I know that guy. All the players and fans, these are players that honestly, you may not know yet, but you'll know them soon. We believe in their talents. We think they'll be good, and we just try to load up on as many guys as we can that can be good players. And then we'll come to camp with right now it's 66 players that may move or adjust a few players here and there just because of, like I said, a few of the players that are on practice squads from teams that got pulled from the NFL and the draft and stuff that may want to come back. And then we'll cut those players down to 50 as we get into the season right before week 1 starts, that second week of February, heading into that opening week of the season.
Yeah, there's some names we know. I mean, AJ McCarron, the quarterback that you grabbed. I mean, that's a very well known name, especially from his days in his college ball.
Yep.
But you're building from scratch. I mean, you mentioned in established leagues, they've got a team. They're tweaking every year. Everybody is starting from scratch. So, what does an Anthony Becht football program look like on the field as you're assembling in pretty short order? You don't have that much time before the games actually start when you think about it.
Yeah, it's hard to do that thorough kind of FBI background check, and you try to utilize your resources. Clearly, my network of people, throughout my career is very helpful in this process, whether it be scouts, GMs, former GMs, coaches, college coaches. We're all with my staff, and of course, Dave Bowler, our DPP/GM. We just have a lot of resources, so we trust on some of those people. But, for me, I think, number one, can we find the most talented player that has great character, that's hungry, has a chip on their shoulder, and is just still driven to be great at what they're doing? Still has a missing piece in their game and understands that and is looking for that piece to really check the box off and say, you know what? If I can find this piece, can I make it to the next level at the highest level? And if I can, then that's awesome, and that's what we want. We want to push those players that way. But if they don't, at least they know, you know what? Coach Becht, his staff, they gave me everything I could possibly give me. They gave me an opportunity to play here. We played great ball. Hopefully won a championship or two. And then from there, they're like, you know what? But the dream is over because I know I've maxed myself out. So that's what this league is. It's a league of opportunity. It's a league for guys to come in and really showcase. And like I said, guys, quite frankly, sometimes it's just a numbers thing for these guys. You're going to find some gems out there. We know, like you said, a couple of the names, but we're going to have more than that, show up for us. And you're going to, become household names for our team as well. So I'm excited to see who those players are. Hopefully there's more than that, and it'll be great. But I think as a team, those are the kind of players that I'm looking for. And I think every one of those guys that I've spoken to that I've picked on our team are well-mannered, good guys, and they just want to play ball. And I think that, that's the number one thing is as long as you can be coachable in this aspect and recognize what this league is offering you, then you have a great chance to be successful. And of course, the best success for our team is, will be with our team success, if everybody just does their thing and buys into the program. And, there'll be some things that I'll tweak, obviously, as a, first-time head coach that I've learned over my ways that I think may be beneficial versus some other ways of doing things. But, the one thing we'll do is, those core values will still be there. Hard work. We're going to put ourselves in great positions and we're going to be disciplined to the aspects of the game. And that'll be key. I didn't play 12 seasons in the NFL because I was the fastest tight end in the league. I didn't play 172 games straight because, I was the best pass catching tight end. There's a process to that. There's a process to being able to have longevity and be at the highest level. And this is one of the highest levels. To be in a professional league is hard. There are thousands of players right now begging me to be in the XFL. So it's great, and I can't wait for it to keep cranking out here live with everybody here in a couple weeks.
Okay, I've just got a minute or so left. Two things I love from a fan's perspective: the idea of a team out there with a chip on the shoulder. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And secondly, we are working hard, and by we I mean Ken and Gabe, to come up with the perfect caw for the team. You want to hear the latest iteration?
I will. Yeah, I heard this is good. Yeah,
we got two versions here. This is version 1.
And that's the one we had your VP take a listen to, and then we went back to the old drawing board. We got some suggestions, and we came up with a second version, right?
Per listeners, some suggestions, and here's the second part.
It's a little lower.
There
pitch.
you go.
And then there's the other one where the jet noise is first.
That was
the first one.
Okay, yeah, I missed it.
That one,
Sorry.
Yeah. So we're trying to do our part on the air.
I like them both. Number one, a great effort there. I think the second one's kind of cool because you kind of feel the jet of the engine coming at you, and then it finishes off with the bird. So, look, that's a good job, guys. I mean, I could work with that. That gets me fired up there. I'd pick two if I have to, but I think they're both equally as good.
Awesome.
Hey. All right, St. Louis Battlehawks head coach Anthony Becht. I hope we have you back on the program, and have a great holiday season.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, have a great holiday. Can't wait to see the fans in the Dome. Let's fill the top and spread the word, man. It's going to be a fun year.
You got it.
We're all about it. All right, once again, head coach Anthony Becht from the St. Louis Battlehawks. All right, 314-912. 1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
The St. Louis area has been much lighter than usual this morning. Checking the cameras, I-70, looks like the snow has moved into Columbia. It's moving towards Kingdom City. It's pretty hazardous on 70, that Roachport area through Kansas City, and all of the Kansas City roads are extremely hazardous, ice and snow covered this morning if you happen to be going that far. This report is sponsored by Tire Rack, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Nearly 3,000 teen drivers die in car crashes each year. Tire Rack Street Survival is designed to save lives. The one-day hands-on driving school gives teens experience in car control through exercises that include emergency braking and skid recovery. Find a class near you at TireRack.com/survive.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Thursday at 9:41, we'll talk to Larry Behrens. He's the communications director at Power the Future, and we will go over the top failures of the Biden administration for the year 2022.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
So, you want Steph's Pizza, but you're in Lake St. Louis and it's just too far to go. Not anymore. Now you can feed that Steph's Pizza craving quickly and conveniently in Lake St. Louis. Same great menu with a new location. 111 Pond Fort Trail in Lake St. Louis. Steph's Pizza in the Chesterfield Valley on Long Road, in St. Peter's on Jungerman, and now in Lake St. Louis. Check them out at Steph'sPizza.com because tonight's a good night for Steph's Pizza.
Hey, it's Vic. Everyone here at News Talk STL is incredibly grateful for the growth in our business during the first 18 months since we signed on the air. We appreciate the great local businesses like Southern Armory, Rhino Shield, Steph's Pizza, and the Walner team that have become one of our many advertising partners. If your business is interested in becoming part of the News Talk STL family, simply send an email to info@newstalkstl.com. We have a wide variety of affordable advertising options. And thanks for listening to News Talk STL. Welcome home.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-737-9944. That's 1-800-737-9944. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-737-9944. That's 1-800-737-9944.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
We need change in our country right now.
Live and local.
They clubbed us over the head for 2 years.
Yep. You want corruption? This is how we get corruption.
This is News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019 on News Talk STL.
Okay, quick update. Within the next hour or so, we could start seeing a few flurries falling in St. Louis, but the actual snowfall isn't expected to be here for really a couple more hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours. But a few flurries could be out there. Actually, flurries leading the way would be a good thing as opposed to rain.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah, so hopefully if we see flurries, that's actually a really good thing. But it could happen in the within the next hour, next 30, 40 minutes. And then after that, expect the snow to really kind of hit in earnest in the next few hours. And it's going to dump 2, 3, 4 inches of snow on the area, and then it's going to move on and get out of the way. And then we just have to deal with the cold weather. So don't panic. We're not dealing with Armageddon.
Please don't panic.
By early next week, we are back to normal. And then the following weekend for New Year's weekend, it's probably going to be warmer than typical for this time of year. So it's just going to be really cold for a couple days. That's really about it.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, when you're driving on this stuff, I can't stand the people who are driving as though, it's absolute blizzard conditions and the roads are entirely icy and they're doing like 20 miles an hour on 70 or something. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's very, very dangerous to go that slow.
Yeah.
That's making it worse.
And then, of course, there's the people who are doing 90 as though nothing is happening and they're not worried about anything and they're just zipping in between. Like, don't do that either. Just fly casual, okay?
Yeah. When you're in a Jeep, I have a 4-wheel drive. When you're in a Jeep, doesn't make you king of the road.
Yeah.
You really will slide off I've seen it happen. You're flying along there, and all of a sudden, he's gone. Where'd he go?
4-wheel
He fell
drive
off the
means
road.
nothing on ice.
No.
All right, how are you feeling going into Christmas season? Are you a Santa, a Scrooge, or a Grinch?
I am absolutely a Santa.
All right, Ken?
I'm kind of in between. I'm a Santa now, but my daughters are older, so it's not as important right now for that aspect of it.
There was a survey done here, and a polling was asking how do people identify? Are they the penny pinchers of Scrooge, the grumpiness of Grinch, or are you the joyful Santa? For whatever it's worth, just so you know, 58% of people in the U.S. are feeling the Santa vibes.
All right.
This year, 58%.
Okay.
Well, good.
All right.
31% say they're more like Scrooge. I admit nothing. And
is that the song of your people?
And the other 11% said they're more like a Grinch mode. Maybe I'm more the Grinch mode.
We're Grinchy.
Yeah.
The only thing that brings me down a little bit is the true aspect of Christmas, what it really means. And then when I see that it's getting lost a little bit, that brings me down a little bit. So that's what I meant by I'm not quite.
Oh yeah, I hear you. I'm actually, I would say that conservatives are Scrooge post redemption. because they're like, hey, it's like the world is a wonderful place. I don't want to die, a crazy old miser. I want to help people out of my own pocket. And Democrats are Scrooge pre-redemption. Hey, don't you have a government that can take care of this garbage?
Yeah,
right.
Get out of my face.
Yes. Are there no orphanages?
Are there no orphanages? I pay my taxes. That's I've done my part.
All right. The best version of A Christmas Carol is what, in your opinion? I know which one I think is the best.
Muppet. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking because the main thing that makes it is the performance by and I can't even. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name. He's a serious dramatic actor, and he puts in actual work as like if you ignore all of the bumpets around him, he's putting in work doing an actual play, and he said as much.
To me, the best A Christmas Carol is the one with George C. Scott.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, that's the best.
It's classic.
Yep.
All right. So just ahead here, let's look back for St. Louis and look ahead for what's next. Mary Teresa McLean from our friends at the St. Louis City Republicans is going to be with us.
Columbo here for Agers Heating and Air Conditioning. Christine and I trust our home with Agers because at Agers, customer satisfaction is the #1 priority. And as you know, St. Louis winters are too cold and unpredictable to not be prepared for. So if your furnace isn't keeping your family warm and comfortable, don't wait and risk the problem getting worse. Whether it's time for repairs or replacement, Agers has you covered with the clarity and attention to detail your home deserves. Contact Agers now at 636-242-6515 or at callagers.com.
Hi, I'm Jen Wallner.
And I'm Rodney Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Rodney, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission rate?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
When's the best time to sell your home?
Right now. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Are you looking for the cheapest prices on car insurance? Then call the Cheap Car Insurance Hotline right now. Hey, you're guaranteed to save money on your car insurance. Most car insurances can be canceled at any time. That means if you find a better deal, you can switch right away. We're not just one company. We offer most of the major brands of car insurance. We're like a discount supermarket for car insurance. And it doesn't matter if you have a good record or a bad driving record. Our agents are experts at finding you the right car insurance for your needs. Our average customer saves hundreds of dollars a year when they call us to switch. So why don't you make this 100% free call right now and see how much you can save on your car insurance. Paid for by AIS Insurance.
800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. That's 800-721-5741.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Little doubt that Veronica Wyman speaks for a lot of weather-weary holiday air travelers, saying she's fed up with flight cancellations.
Tired, stressed, hungry, just hopeless, honestly.
Her plans upended by cancellations at Washington SeaTac Airport. The enormous winter storm moving to the east is spreading snow and ice across a vast area. And then there's the bitter cold. Emergency Management Chief Chris Voss says it rarely gets this cold in Portland, Oregon.
When we're seeing temps of 15 and wind chills of like -1 and -5, that really shows you how rare this is.
FlightAware.com reports more than 1,235 flight cancellations so far this morning. As Congress considers sending another $45 billion to Ukraine, and the Biden administration announcing almost $2 billion more in military aid, Ukraine's leader has addressed a joint meeting of Congress.
I have the high privilege and the distinct honor of presenting to you His Excellency Volodymyr Zelensky, President of the Ukraine.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi introduced the president to Congress before his address. He thanked the members of Congress who had and who intend to visit Ukraine in the future.
It's a great honor for me to be at the U.S. Congress and speak to you and all Americans.
Zelensky spoke for just over 20 minutes in English, invoking President Franklin Roosevelt, thanking lawmakers for their support, and vowing to defeat Russia. In Washington, I'm Bernie Bennett.
The Senate gets back to work this morning on the $1.7 trillion omnibus spending bill. Republican Senator Mike Lee of Utah slowed the process by authoring an amendment to preserve Title 42 authority that was set to expire this week. That threw the Democrats into disarray with no vote on Lee's amendment. On Wall Street, Dow futures down 218. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Factor pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Hey folks, listen, you have to check out Up Faith and Family this Christmas season. All month long, Up Faith and Family is celebrating Christmas with lighthearted movies, shows, and musical specials that keep the reason for this season at heart. And it's all ad-free. With Up Faith and Family, you can stream uplifting family-friendly shows anytime, anywhere on your favorite device for only $5.99 a month. Visit upfaithandfamily.com/Salem and start your 14-day free trial today.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Everything is quiet in the St. Louis area, much lighter than normal volume. We are seeing the snow spreading across mid-Missouri, Springfield, Columbia, Jefferson City. Things look really bad in Kansas City, so it's sort of a hint of things to come, but it'll be a while yet. This report is sponsored by Think It Up, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
All right, here we go. Not too bad early this morning. Temperatures starting off at dawn in the mid-30s, but dropping rapidly as winds increase. And by later this morning through the early afternoon hours, accumulating snow on the order of 2 to 3 inches in and around St. Louis. But those temperatures will be dropping into the single digits this afternoon and below zero overnight tonight. The high on Friday, 7 degrees, but wind chills will be 20 to 30 degrees below zero as the wind really howls again on Friday. Saturday looks better with some sunshine for Christmas Eve and a high temperature in the teens, probably about 16. Up to the low 20s for Christmas Day on Sunday with partly sunny skies. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Gerhardt.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by House Sold Easy. Looking to sell a house fast? Call David today at 314-293-3000. That's David with House Sold Easy at 314-293-3000.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9, right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion from the voices you know and trust. News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com. Mike Ferguson.
Just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I love Jesus. He was my superhero.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Twitter is like being able to read every toilet wall in the world.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up!
This is your cousin.
Big changes coming to St. Louis when it comes to the political landscape here. We're going to get into that in just a moment. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 8:06. Got Gabe here, of course, and Ken here, of course. Don't be surprised if you start seeing some snow flurries in the next hour or so. But the bigger snows, and I say bigger snow, we're talking 2 to 4 inches here. Remember, we're not talking about a massive snowstorm or anything like that. That's probably going to pick up around 11 o'clock. But be prepared for those brutally cold temperatures, because that is going to happen. Joined now by Mary Teresa McLean here in the studio. Hey, Mary Teresa, good to have you again.
Good morning and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. I want to kind of do a look forward as to what's in store for the St. Louis GOP, the city GOP. But first, let's review 2022. You look back, obviously a lot of changes in the city of St. Louis. What would you say stands out from a governmental perspective as some of the biggest changes? Because for the taxpayers and just for the culture, this was not a good year for St. Louis City because in large part of what's happening at City Hall in St. Louis. But what really jumped out to you as some of the biggest things that people need to remember as we assess the year?
I think the removal of 3 key people from the Board of Aldermen, that was a huge upset. People that we had come to rely on for so many years really let us down, and we're really feeling the void. But you know what? We have lots of leadership going on, especially in the Republican Party here in the city, and we look to fill that void.
Yeah, and we'll get to the upcoming elections because
Sure.
it seems like every third or fourth day we've got an election in St. Louis City. There's just one constantly. Special election, primary election, general election, special election. Now we've got the actual real elections coming up here. When you look at the growth of the St. Louis Republican Party, because remember, there are so many Republicans and media people across the state who have written off the actual city of St. Louis. They'll pay attention to the county, but they haven't paid as much attention to the city. But you all have been incredibly active. Talk about the growth that you've had over the past 12 months.
Well, number one, our monthly meeting is well attended. 4-6 years ago, if we had 10 people in a room, we were pretty happy. Now we've got 30, 40 people in a room as a rule, and sometimes even 50 and 60.
Wow.
People find us primarily online or through friendships. People will say, "Hey, you need to come and witness this." And we keep our meetings very interesting. And, of course, it's open to the public. People can come. There's no need to reserve. There's no cost. You just show up, and you can witness the Republican Party in action.
So the outlook for 2023, how's that looking?
Very, very good. For the first time, we've got two Republicans. Of course, with St. Louis City elections now, it's all everybody on the ballot is an independent. It's nonpartisan. But we've got two Republicans on the ballot, and we haven't had that in decades.
Mary Teresa, you mentioned that it's growing, and that concerns me because we've had in the past, such apathy, and it seems like now is a really good time to start getting the people excited. Do you feel like it's a grassroots type of thing where people are just showing up and saying, "Look, I'm just tired of what's going on"?
Very grassroots. Very
good.
People, I hear this several times. People will say, because after the meeting, I'll say, "Hey, how did you hear about us?" Well, you know what? I was sitting on my couch watching the news, and I'm screaming at the TV, and all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute, I need to get involved. I can't quit. I have to quit being on the couch and screaming at the TV. I need to get involved. So I picked up my phone and, just Googled Republicans in St. Louis, and I found you, and here I am.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
so cool.
That is, if you just heard that once, that would be great. But to hear it over and over and over again, people are starting to rise up, and we're there. We're prepared.
Now, you mentioned, the changes as far as the government goes, going to the nonpartisan ballot lines. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for a candidate who is a Republican? Because on the ballot, they're just going to be listed with their name and no party affiliations at all. Is that good or bad for Republicans who are running? When
that got voted in a couple years ago, our knee-jerk reaction was, that is not good. But the more that we listen to people, voters, they really are very accepting of it. And so, the spring race for alderman is going to prove that, whether that's good or bad. So ask me that again in April.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, that's fair. We're visiting with Mary Teresa McLean from the St. Louis City Republican Party. What are the goals? I mean, what's 2023? What's the agenda look like? What's kind of the theme look like for the city party?
Well, definitely to get at least one person in City Hall, which we haven't had in decades. We've got two people so far. The new Ward 1, Matt Catraba, he's on the ballot. The new Ward 2, Phil Menendez, he's on the ballot. And we're going to go in hard, knocking on doors, getting the word out, getting them online quite a bit. And number one, we know that we're going to get outspent. We know that. That's a fact. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to respond to that. We're going to be door to door, eyeball to eyeball with people.
Now, I imagine people in the county have basically kind of been apathetic towards the Republican Party in St. Louis City just because it's like, oh, what are they going to do? But city policy often impacts the county. So what message do you have for the county Republicans and what they could or should be doing to support the city GOP?
Well, first and foremost, the city county or the county residents, Republicans that are on the border of the city and the county line on the south side, come and help us, because it will definitely affect you if we can get at least one or maybe even both of those guys in City Hall. It'll affect the county in a very positive way, because this business of complete one-party rule in the city, it's just got to stop.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, and even for those who aren't overtly partisan in politics, I mean, everybody knows St. Louis is a blue city, but they just keep getting more and more and more extreme. And you look at just some of the crazy stuff that's happening right there. That's got people, to what you said a little bit earlier, who are saying there's got to be a better way to do this, and I guess that's the challenge, is harnessing that momentum of so many people saying there's got to be a better way and connecting so they see you and going, yeah, there is. Here we are.
Well, case in point, and that is the craziness. Megan Green was voted in as the Board of Aldermen president. If you get on her website, she is all in for legalizing prostitution in the city.
Oh my gosh. Prostitute. That's the first I'm hearing about that.
Mm-hmm.
What
Really?
does she want to take on a second job?
She's beyond extreme.
Wow.
She is beyond extreme.
Yeah.
And it's worded as sex workers.
Right.
She wants to legalize sex workers, or legalize sex work, and have the city pay for their health care.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
And why people aren't up in arms over this is a total mystery to me. So I take every chance I get to get that word out.
That's amazing.
I imagine even, kind of I don't want to say even necessarily the blue dog Democrats, but just normal Democrats would be against that sort of thing. So that seems like a good focal point to sort of say, hey, why not get one of our guys in there to kind of check that?
Very much so. Yes. Yes.
You mentioned going door to door, and I think that's the most critical thing you could be doing.
It is the most critical. It's proven.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, when you're going door to door, have you noticed any questions that are just really a breath of fresh air? For example, we didn't know that this was going on. We never met a Republican or things like that. Have you really experienced anything like that?
Oh, very much so. We didn't know there were any Republicans in St. Louis. I'm a Republican. I had no idea. Hey, we're here. We're prepared. We've got an infrastructure. We've got a monthly meeting. And, something we did that was ultra successful was in this last year, July through December, once a month, we had leadership development training. And if you went through all 4 of the 6 modules, you got a certificate as a grassroots leader.
Do you have a few extra minutes, Mary Teresa?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I got a couple other questions regarding some of these issues affecting the city. What's the website? We'll give it out before you go, but let's do it right now as well.
stlouisrepublicans.com.
Easy enough. All right, Mary Teresa McLean from the St. Louis Republicans in the city. Going to stick around with us just a few more minutes right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
We're doing just fine in the St. Louis area. Our volume is very light, not the case across the rest of the state. St. Joseph, for example, blizzard conditions. Kansas City roadways are very hard hit. We're starting to see the snow move into Springfield, Columbia, and Kirksville, as well as Jefferson City. So it'll be a little while yet before it gets here. We've seen a flake or two, though. This report is sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Since 2007, the state of Missouri and local governments have handed out almost $5 billion in tax subsidies or abatements to private developers. That money could have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. And studies show these subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. If developers want to build a sports stadium or shopping mall, why should they be given our tax dollars to do it? It's time to reform economic development subsidies. The Show Me message has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Columbo and Katie.
I think wind is cool.
Who says that?
I do.
I think wind is cool,
bro. I've said it before, and I've had that same reaction from many people.
Why do you like wind?
I think it's cool.
But what does that mean?
I don't know. I just think it's cool. I think it's cool that, you're standing outside and
it's whipping?
For some reason, air's blowing on you.
Tony Columbo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
How is your car payment treating you? What if I told you you could make a free phone call right now and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Look at your car payment closely. You could be paying as high as 20% interest. Rate Genius can help you reduce your car payments by reducing your interest rate to as low as 2.48% APR. We can refinance most existing car loans or leased cars, new or used, and save you money every month. Put more money back in your pocket. The call is free to find out how low we can lower your car payment. 5 minutes of your time right now could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Call Rate Genius now.
800-764-2179. 800-764-2179. 800-764-2179. That's 800-764-2179.
Not all applicants qualify for a loan or rate savings. Actual offer terms, including APR, are determined at the time of your application based on creditworthiness, value of the vehicle, loan term, and other factors.
Commentary.
New York City might soon cut services to prioritize the care and coddling of illegals, which sounds about right for New York. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
We conquer cancer. For the mom-to-be who is out of treatment options. For the doctor who has a brilliant idea but needs research funding. For the people who faced cancer head-on and climbed incredible heights while they were with us. For the children who celebrate the end of chemo. We conquer cancer for all who have been touched by it. Conquer Cancer accelerates breakthroughs in research and care for every cancer, every patient, everywhere. Join us at conquer.org.
Title 42 is still in place. The whole country is still bracing for impact because we're already seeing an unmitigated run on our border like we've never seen before. And even liberal politicians are panicking, like New York City Mayor Adams. He has warned his constituents New York City might soon have to cut back on assistance New Yorkers rely on to make way for the tens of thousands of illegals likely en route to the Big Apple. The shelter system is already full and money, staff, and space is about out. But instead of asking the Biden administration to stop the invasion, mayors like Eric Adams just want more federal money, more tax dollars to take care of the illegals coming in. Unbelievable. No, these states and cities that pride themselves in being sanctuary free-for-alls should have to fund and deal with the problem, not the rest of the cities and states that want a secure border. Blue states, you've made your bed and it's time to pay the piper. I'm Tommy Lahren.
No big old corporate lib AM station telling us what to say here. Conservative talk for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
In about 12 minutes or so, we are continuing our series of highlighting some of the great nonprofit and charitable work that's happening around St. Louis. This is just the perfect time to do it, and maybe affecting as many or more people than anybody else is the St. Louis Food Bank, St. Louis Area Food Bank. And we've got their CEO going to be joining us at around 8:35. I'm Mike Ferguson. I got Gabe here, got Ken here. It's 8:22, joined by Mary Teresa McLean from the St. Louis City Republicans. Okay, one of the things I wanted to follow up on here is, you mentioned earlier the three now former government officials who were headed to the pokey for corruption charges. How much of an effect do you think that those guilty pleas and actual prison sentences can affect other corruption or temptations of corruption in St. Louis City Hall? Is this something that can kind of bring it back around to a less corrupt government? And what can the Republicans do in the city to help drive just simply better government, regardless of whether you win a bunch of seats in City Hall or not?
Well, as far as having an impact, I think that any show of consequences is always a good thing. We haven't seen consequences in so long, and to see these consequences, I think, is a big plus factor. And I think it'll make people think twice before they do something underhanded.
Are there new and rising issues in the city of St. Louis that kind of surprise you? Or now there are issues that we have to talk about, because we kind of touched on that whole sex worker thing. I'm not sure if that was on the air or off the air.
Yeah, we talked about it. On the air,
So are there other issues kind of like in that vein where it's like, oh wow, I didn't think we would be talking about this, but here we are in the city? Actually,
that is so over the top. It's hard to even bring anything else up. I mean, to legalize sex work, which is prostitution, and we just can't have that. We have to as a city, whether you're on the left or the right or anywhere in between, we have to join forces and get that off the radar, get that off of anybody's thinking.
Yeah,
because if that would happen, that's going to bleed out into the county. There's no way it's going to stay inside the city. It's gonna bleed out. And so anybody in the St. Louis County that's listening,
help. Absolutely.
Join forces with the St. Louis City Republicans. Help us stamp that out.
Yeah, there's no actual. Is there a proposal? Is there something on the bill or on the calendar yet on that for St. Louis? The Board of Aldermen yet? I mean, is that actually officially proposed, or is that we know it's the board president's agenda, so eventually it's going to be there?
Yeah, I would say eventually it will be there. I don't think that it's on anything yet, but I think it is certainly planned.
Okay, what about obviously? I think the biggest issue in the city is going to be public safety and emergency services. New police chief now hired, going to take the job in early January. What's that police chief going to need to be successful and help improve the safety of St. Louis, which includes which then affects obviously its marketability and its attractiveness to businesses and residents alike?
I think number one, he's going to need support from City Hall. If he doesn't, they're talking like they're supporting him, but if he doesn't get the actual support, it's going to be very difficult. So we're very excited about this new police chief. Very, very excited. He looks like he has the just the personality to make sure that things get done correctly. And we as a party here in the city, we're going to very much support him every way we can, because one of our chief things is supporting the police.
Yeah, and he's going to need to build a lot of relationships probably sooner rather than later to really get some momentum behind him, I would think.
Yeah, I would definitely think so.
Yeah.
I Googled him online, and he has a large family, sons, and I think one daughter. So just from being a dad himself, he would, I think, just bring a level of safety to St. Louis. We're very excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of with police, what's your take on some lawmakers, Republican lawmakers in Jefferson City, working to take St. Louis Police Department control back under state auspices?
Every police officer that I have talked to, they are all for that. They say, we need the state to take back control of our city police. And I think when you get actual policemen, retired, otherwise, that are all in agreement with that, I think you have to pay attention to that.
Yeah, and when you've got, essentially a defund approach that we've seen in City Hall in St. Louis, for years now. Now they'll want to call it something else, but that's really what we're dealing with St. Louis City Police. And then they wonder why so many businesses are leaving, because that's you look at the St. Louis Business Journal, you look at some of the other media outlets around the state. It seems like every week there's another announcement of another high profile business leaving the city of St. Louis for somewhere else, and they put out a press release and try to be as nice as they can. But I think we all know what's happening is it's not a good investment right now for a lot of businesses, and there are safety and security concerns that you have to worry about in the city. And so they're doing what businesses have to do, look out for their best interest, and they're leaving the city, and it's kind of destroying it from within.
From a business owner's viewpoint, I don't think they have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there isn't really anywhere else to go. Within the city that would be safe, that would be secure, because of what's going on, right?
Oh, I drive around the city all the time, and I look around and I think, would I put a business in this neighborhood? I look around and think, nope. Drive to another neighborhood. Would I put a business in this neighborhood? Well, maybe. It should be a resounding yes.
Everywhere.
Drive to this neighborhood. You drive to that neighborhood. Our son lives in South Carolina in the Spartanburg area. And we were just there at Thanksgiving. And they have a vibrant small business community. Everywhere you look, I mean, it's just buzzing. And I think, oh my goodness, this is what St. Louis used to be like. This is what the city used to be like. You know, little stores and bakeries on every corner. Every neighborhood had a little grocery store, a little German bakery. That's all gone. And we've got to bring it back.
And I would argue that would also attract people to live down there, not just single people, but I'm saying families don't want to come back to the city.
Oh, I think so. I mean, St. Louis City is rich in history. And if it was a safe place, it would be a magnet. People would just come back. Yeah. I really believe that. And a lot of people agree with that.
All right. The next meeting for the St. Louis City Republicans is when? And let's go ahead and give out that website information again.
Sure. The first meeting is January 5th. It's always the first Thursday. We meet at the Police Officers Association on Southampton, right near Chippewa. You can find all this information at stlouisrepublicans.com.
All right. Mary Teresa McLean from the St. Louis City Republicans. Good to talk to you again. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Same to you. And 2023 is going to be a fantastic year for the city of St. Louis and for News Talk STL.
That's right.
Heck, yes, it is.
Merry Christmas, Mary Teresa.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
Thank you.
314-912-1019. Just ahead here, we're continuing our series of great nonprofit and charitable work that is making St. Louis a better place. We are talking with the St. Louis Area Food Bank just ahead. By the way, there's probably somebody you know who is relying on them right now and you don't even realize it. We'll explain in about 4 minutes on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis, for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Talk.
The Biden campaign, did he know what was happening inside Twitter?
That matters to St. Louis.
Harnessing nuclear fusion.
This would be transformative to civilization.
1019 and 94.1.
We're all keeping a close eye on this.
News Talk STL.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasovich. Governor Parson is activating the Missouri National Guard to help with state and local response efforts during the winter storm. The National Guard will help the Missouri State Highway Patrol by responding to stranded drivers and clearing roadways. A 27-year-old O'Fallon, Missouri man was sentenced on Wednesday to 18 years and 4 months for selling the fentanyl that killed a St. Peter's woman back in 2020. Prosecutors said the man could have contacted the victim's family or called 911 to report the matter after the woman called in distress asking what he sold her, but he chose not to and instead lied and said he sold her morphine. A B-2 Spirit stealth bomber that caught fire on December 10th during an emergency landing has finally been cleared from the runway of Whiteman Air Force Base. The Air Force says A-10s and T-38s will be allowed to resume operations on the runway, but there is an ongoing safety investigation with the B-2s. And in sports, in college basketball, the 42nd Bragging Rights showdown between the Mizzou Tigers and the Illinois Fighting Illini is scheduled for tonight at 8 p.m. at Enterprise. Illinois won last year, while Mizzou won the previous 3 meetings before that. In Major League Soccer, despite having the first overall pick in yesterday's 2023 Super Draft as the MLS's newest club, City SC opted to trade out of the initial pick for cash compensation and additional selections. Ultimately, the team selected 2 players with the 9th and 30th overall picks. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
We're starting to pick up some light precipitation in the St. Peter's area. The Warrenton area is showing a little bit. It looks like about New Florence is where the snow starts to get a little bit heavier on I-70. So we're still doing great in the immediate St. Louis area. Our volume's been light all morning long. No major headaches right now. This report sponsored by Think It Up, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
All right, here we go. Not too bad early this morning. Temperatures starting off at dawn in the mid-30s, but dropping rapidly as winds increase. And by later this morning through the early afternoon hours, accumulating snow on the order of 2 to 3 inches in and around St. Louis. But those temperatures will be dropping into the single digits this afternoon and below zero overnight tonight. The high on Friday, 7 degrees, but wind chills will be 20 to 30 degrees below zero as the wind really howls again on Friday. Saturday looks better with some sunshine for Christmas Eve and a high temperature in the teens, probably about 16. Up to the low 20s for Christmas Day on Sunday with partly sunny skies. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Gerhardt.
Hi, Jen Wallner here. As a former foster child myself, I have always been an advocate for foster children in our community. Angels Arms is an amazing organization that provides a stable, nurturing, and loving family environment for these children. They ensure these children have not only the childhood they deserve, but the resources needed to become successful, thriving adults. I truly believe that this organization is transforming lives, and I could not be more proud to be a small part of that accomplishment. For more information or to get involved, visit angelsarms.org.
Hey, it's Tony, and as 2022 winds down, the whole team here at News Talk STL is so thankful for the growth we've seen since starting the station just a year and a half ago, and we especially love the great local businesses like TJ's Pizza, New Creation Dental Care, and Bluff City Outdoors that have all become a part of our family of advertising partners. If your business is interested in becoming part of the News Talk STL family, simply send an email to info@newstalkstl.com. Thanks for listening, and Merry Christmas from your friends at News Talk STL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
I think they're trying to attack the American people.
Live and local.
Gabe, Mike, Ken, you guys are my morning cup of mental coffee. I love the show. Definitely a convert from the old one.
This is News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
Okay, here's something that you're not going to believe when I say it, but it's probably true.
Okay.
There is somebody in your social circle or workplace circle who relies on the food bank and you don't even know it.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah. There's a lot of people say, oh, well, it's a good thing we donate to these charities because, in that other part of town, man, they really need that. They need that over there. But you would be really surprised as to how many people are relying on it in every part of town. Mike Ferguson here, got Gabe here, got Ken here, and now joined by Meredith Knopp from the St. Louis Area Food Bank, where it was just fortuitous that my wife and I went to a Christmas concert last weekend over at Grace Presbyterian Church, and Meredith comes up and gives just a quick update for people in the church. And I went, wait a minute, I need to connect with them. I was going to call her anyway, so I was able to catch up with you in person and get you on the program here, Meredith. So I appreciate you being on the program. And when I say that there are people that basically you would not expect who rely on what you do, kind of explain where I'm going with that.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on, Mike. I really appreciate it. And you are absolutely right. We are seeing a lot of families, working 40 hours a week, working 2 jobs, that are just saying right now with inflation and prices, my salary and my budget worked until everything went up 10, 20, 50%. I mean, we're paying $5 for eggs. Something's gone wrong. I can tell you, I was out with our team at Mid Rivers Mall yesterday, and we provided food to over 456 families yesterday. So the need is real. The need is all across the bi-state region, and we are working very, very hard to raise the funds needed to get the food out to everyone that needs, because we don't want anyone suffering in silence, especially around the holidays.
Good morning, Meredith. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So for those of us who aren't familiar with St. Louis Food Bank and how it exactly works, tell us what the process is. How do you get your food? How do you get the people that need it? And then how do you connect them?
Sure. Thanks, Gabe. So the St. Louis Area Food Bank, we're located in Bridgeton. We actually support 26 counties, so 14 in Missouri and 12 in Illinois. And what we do is we are acquiring, so we're getting food donations from farmers, agriculturists, manufacturers, retailers, community groups, and we're also having to purchase a lot of food. But what we do is we get all of that food here to our 100,000 square foot facility in Bridgeton, and we are distributing that food to an incredible network of almost 600 partner agencies across those 26 counties. So if you think of your food pantries, soup kitchens, transitional housing, odds are if you're getting food locally, it probably started with the St. Louis Area Food Bank.
And I've actually been in that warehouse. It's a very efficient, impressive process and system that they've got out there. We're visiting with Meredith Knopp from the St. Louis Area Food Bank, where she's the president and the CEO. One of the things I've over the years of doing media stuff with food banks around the area is that a lot of people I think are focused on what you're doing right now, and there's obviously fundraising drives and food drives and everything is top of mind right now. But how does the need right now in the holiday season compare to the need in other parts of the year?
So hunger never takes a holiday. You're absolutely right. However, I can tell you right now, we are seeing double-digit increases just year over year from this same time last November. People are struggling. People are really trying to figure out how they're going to put food on their table, pay the heating bills. We've got this snowstorm coming in, do something for the holidays with their family. People are struggling. So we right now have a really unique situation with so many more families needing our help. And we're also seeing decreases in food being donated through our retailers and manufacturers. We're seeing a decrease in food being donated from other food drives. And we're seeing an increase in having to purchase food, and prices are up. So we actually issued this week a $1 million Share the Holidays challenge, where we're asking our community, if you are able, if you're a business, an organization, a foundation, or just a really, really wonderful human being who wants to do something and is looking for a place to send a few extra dollars this year, please think of the St. Louis Area Food Bank, because hundreds of thousands of people are counting on us to get this right.
So, Meredith, so it sounds like what you're in need of in particular is donations, but are you also in need of volunteer workers?
Right now, we have had such a wonderful response from our volunteers. So for the end of the year, we are okay on volunteers. However, we will put a call out for volunteers starting again after the holidays in January. They can visit our website, stlfoodbank.org. They can sign up as individuals, families, groups, and we would love to have them, because this work takes a village, a very big village, to make it happen.
Yeah, Meredith, we've actually used you as a charitable organization to go and help as a business. We got together and just came by, and then you set us up, and it was really ran very, very well, real tight. You've got a lot of military people involved, don't you?
We do. So, being an Army veteran, it's important that we're efficient with people's time. If they're going to take time out of their busy schedule to volunteer, we want to make sure they feel good about it. So we start on time, we end on time, and you are working. There is no sitting around here at the St. Louis Area Food Bank. So we love it. We have volunteers, as young as 4 or 5, all the way up to 95. So if you are willing and able, you're volunteering inside most of the time. So climate controlled, unless you want to go out into the elements with us and do some of our mobile distributions. We'd love to have you there too.
Okay, let's follow up on the end of the year drive that you just mentioned. Obviously, you're looking for monetary contributions, but are you still looking for the food donations themselves? And just kind of go over and give us the outline of that, what that looks like.
Sure. So the $1 million Share the Holidays Challenge goes on between now and December 31st. People can make a financial donation on our website, stlfoodbank.org. They can also do gifts of stock. Some people have asked us, can I make a stock donation? Absolutely. We also are asking people for food donations. They can go online and do a virtual food drive if they don't want to leave their homes because this weather is going to be pretty nasty later on. But if organizations or groups or businesses want to do a food drive, they can absolutely do that. We'd love to give you food barrels, or if you just want to collect it on your own, feel free to do that. We'd love to have your support. And then again, the volunteer aspect. So after the holidays, helping that. So the call today is we need funds, we need food, and we need friends.
And let me also I know you get asked this question a lot, but when a monetary donation comes into the food bank in your organization, explain to people how you get so much more out of that dollar than maybe we would, even going to a bulk place like Sam's or Costco or something like that.
Incredible question. So we're very, very proud that 97 cents of every dollar goes right out to food distribution. Our administrative and overhead costs are very low. We are able to stretch those dollars because of our buying power and being part of the Feeding America network. So we have access to manufacturers and suppliers to get deals that, you're right, we can't even get at Costco or Sam's Club. So you might go to a store and pay, $1.50, $1.70 for a can of fruit or a can of vegetables. I can get a case for that same amount. So the dollars really, really help us stretch that and get the most out of our money.
All right, we're visiting with Meredith Knopp from the St. Louis Area Food Bank. We're going to give out the website once again, and then we'll challenge people to make a contribution like right now, because a lot of people are going to be stuck in our house when the snow moves through, and then when the cold weather moves through. And it's kind of nice to say, I'm bored, I'm going to the pantry to eat something, and that's not always a luxury for everybody at all times of the year. And I think it's important for a lot of people to remember that. I know that a lot of fundraising happens at this point, but your need and the demand for what you do is, I know it goes up and down, but it's pretty significant throughout the entire year. When it comes to hunger, I guess the levels in the St. Louis region, how are we doing overall? Because I think when people hear me say, there is somebody probably in your neighborhood and they're looking around in the suburbs going, no way, not out here. But there really is probably somebody in their neighborhood who is relying on what you do.
That is absolutely true. I can tell you that I've run into people in our circles that, I would never have expected, but they had a job loss, they had a medical bill, they had a car repair. And all of those things, people realize that they are only one life event from needing assistance. We've had, team members out at mobile drive-through distributions that have recognized a family member or a neighbor in line that day. So it is absolutely affecting more people than we realize. And odds are you know someone or know somebody who knows someone who really could use a little help right now. And that's what the holidays are all about. Sharing that joy, sharing that love, doing something for someone else, and that's going to make you warm even on a cold winter's day.
All right, let's go ahead and give out that website information once again.
The website is stlfoodbank.org. And it's very simple. You're going to get that big pop-up that says $1 Million Challenge. And we are just incredibly grateful for anyone and everyone who's able to help us share the holidays this season.
All right, Meredith Knopp from the St. Louis Area Food Bank. I may want to check in with you, early in the year to see how that drive went, because I think a lot of people may need reminded. The holidays will be over, but there is still a need, so let's go ahead and get out ahead of it right now.
Please do. Thank you all so much, and happy holidays, guys. Really, really appreciate your time this morning.
And you too as well. All right, so check it out. And by the way, if you are watching us on Rumble, I just put the direct donate link in the Rumble chat box, so you can go right there. All right, 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
It has been a very quiet morning across the St. Louis area anyway. The rough weather already overtaking Kansas City and Columbia. We are starting to see some precipitation move in, though. I noticed on the cameras, Town and Country, Chesterfield, St. Peters, you are starting to see that light precipitation pick up, so things will change. It'll go down quickly. I'm Joe Sonderman. This report sponsored by the Cheesecake Factory from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Give the gift of Cheesecake Factory. Through December 31st, get a free $15 bonus card for every $50 gift card purchased at thecheesecakefactory.com or at any of the Cheesecake Factory restaurants. Visit thecheesecakefactory.com for more details.
Columbo and Katie.
Don't mess with the snow on Thursday. Just turn us on, grab some hot chocolate, and get comfortable. Crane Durham will be with me, and we'll talk to Christian Daytalk at the White House at 2:25 and JT from Pocket Watching at 3:05.
Weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
What's the best product I bought this year? Oh, that's easy. Salonpas pain-relieving patches. The proven medicines in Salonpas patches reduce my pain and let me do the things I need to do every day.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas reported improved sleep, mood, and the ability to work. They had less pain and were able to reduce their use of oral pain medications.
For pain, I use Salonpas. It's good medicine.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
For $1 a day, if any covered appliance breaks in your home, we guarantee to fix or replace it. All makes and models, washers, dryers, refrigerators, air conditioners, and more. Guaranteed to be fixed or replaced for $1 a day. Call the Home Service Club now for free information.
800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. That's 800-399-3701.
Talk radio made in St. Louis for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL.
Our responsibility.
News, analysis, and opinion.
To provide updated guidance.
At 1019, 941, and NewstalkSTL.com. News, analysis, opinion. Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Okay, the temperature is dropping as we speak here in the area. It's gone down just a couple of degrees over the last little bit. Looks like there could be some flurries around the area, but at this point, it looks like the snow is going to roll in around 11 o'clock. Again, not a huge amount of snow, enough to cause some problems if you're not careful, but not exactly a blizzard. But I'm looking at the forecast, hourly forecast for the temperatures, and it is not going to be too long before St. Louis is in single digits. If you are working a regular day at work today, by the time you head home, it's going to be, I think the meteorological term is stupid freaking cold.
Stupid cold.
And I think this is one of the breaking things that Vic would appreciate happening after 11.
Yeah, precisely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But my wife kind of relayed also an anecdotal update from a coworker who lives out in unincorporated South County. She says there's freezing rain there currently. So be careful out there.
Yeah, there were some problems that were happening in central Missouri about 2 hours ago. So that's the system that's moving here. There is a chance that there could be some drizzle or some rain prior to the snow, and that would actually be a big problem for a little while. The roads are pre-treated for the most part, so I think you're going to be okay. Just use common sense. If you don't have to drive anywhere, don't go anywhere. Settle in tonight. Don't worry about going anywhere. It's going to be ridiculously cold, as in below zero. Below zero temperatures are expected to hit around, actually around 7 p.m. tonight. We could be at 0 around 7 p.m., and then in the negatives after that all the way through tomorrow morning. Wind chills could get down into around the negative 25 and negative 30 area in the wind chills. So it truly is going to be dangerous from that perspective. I'm thinking about canceling my afternoon doctor's appointment at this point. I'm like, I'm not sure this is worth it. We can check up on me on my eyeball next week.
Yeah. Again, the proper term is stupid freaking cold.
Yes. I mean, I'm
That's
not a
meteorological stuff. Don't worry about it.
Full-on meteorologist, but I've watched the news a lot of times. I used to work with him when I was in TV.
Exactly.
By the way, during that last information break, it was real easy. I put in $50 to the food bank.
Yeah.
That's my challenge to everybody.
Click the
right
thing.
now. Absolutely, click the thing. $25, $50. If you can do more, then that's great. $50 will feed feed a family for 2 full weeks. And so that was really, really easy to do. I put the link in the Rumble chat box. Did we put it up on any other?
It's on Twitter. It's on Facebook. So
great.
It should be so easy. Just a couple clicks, you're right there.
Yeah, and challenge others as well. So if you see that link on our social media at News Talk STL, share that.
Yeah.
Just share it right from the News Talk STL post. And let people know that you are all in on that as well. I mean, literally, really, $25 or $50 goes a really, really long way.
Or 10.
Or 10 bucks. Anything helps. So does 1,000. Come to think of it.
Yeah, exactly. All the numbers.
All the numbers are good. So you see that, please share that and tweet it out, Facebook post it out. I put the link, like I said, on the Rumble chat box. Make a donation. Feel free to let people know, because when you tell them, hey, I saw this. I donated $25, $50, $100, whatever it was. Will you join me in doing it? Then you're more likely to get your friends and family to go, yeah, I could do that too. Click there and toss in a little bit. This is one of the most effective direct nonprofits that you're going to find anywhere. And like I said, I've been to that warehouse in Bridgeton before. It is really impressive how efficiently that is run, considering all the volunteers they have and how the demand is really extreme at times. And there's a lot of fresh food too. Don't think this is just, pasta boxes and soups and stuff. There's a lot of healthy, nutritious food that is donated. And I love it just when people are directly helping people. And that's what we're looking at right here. So so do that, please.
They're basically the Amazon of food distribution for those in need. It's pretty awesome. And also 97 cents of every dollar going. It's like that again.
That's
we were
really
talking about how 10, 15% towards overhead and stuff like that is kind of good, is looked at as really good. You're getting under 5%.
That's impressive.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, happy birthday to one Mr. Gabe Pfeiffer.
Happy birthday.
So if he sounded older today, that's why.
Yeah, that's it.
And is anybody willing to match my humble $50 donation? Let us know. I'd love to hear that. I put it in. Took me all of 45 seconds to put that in right there. So if you're willing to do that, go ahead and say, hey, I matched. I did it too, Mike, and then more people will do it.
Share it and all that stuff.
And Gabe, I think you sounded younger.
Oh, I appreciate that, sir.
All right, Vic Porcelli coming your way here at around 9:04 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, Columbo here for our family dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, a one-stop solution for all your family's dental needs, including braces. Dr. Boscia uses the My Forever Smile Braces system, which straightens teeth many times in less than a year for half the price of traditional braces. Traditional braces or Invisalign can cost $6,000 or more, but Dr. Boscia only charges $29.98 for My Forever Smile, and incentives and insurance can lower the price even more, plus New Creation offers in-office financing. Learn more at newcreationdentalcare.com.